91.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind, wrist the line, and walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, score!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM.
Hi, this is Ray Hudson, and for all the biggest matches from club soccer's holy grail, the UEFA Champions League, tune in to SiriusXM FC 157.
The best hockey lives here.
Burns gets it back, stick handles to the backhand, moves in front, score!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM.
Leafs game night live from Scotiabank Arena. It's Saturday night. The Red Wings are here. Final home game of the regular season for the Leafs. The Leafs have things to play for. Auston Matthew has goal totals to increase on, and the Red Wings are in a must-win situation. They're hanging on by their fingertips, Frankie C.
Jimmy, did you want to do another out-of-town scoreboard, or you think we're all up to speed there?
I can do that. Yeah, just buy me some time, and I'll get that all set up for you.
No problem.
No
problem. The only reason why I say that is because for the Detroit Red Wings, in case you're just joining us, serious playoff implications for them tonight as Washington's playing, Philadelphia's playing, and every point is important for them. And the Red Wings are going to bring a playoff-like urgency, desperation, and mentality to this game. And I think it is a good little tune-up for the Leafs because, at this point in the season, they kind of know where they're going to finish. There is a little bit of like a waiting for the playoffs kind of mentality. And it's a good test for them as Detroit's going to give them all they got because they're fighting for their playoff lives with every game that they play.
If this scoreboard keeps going in this direction, the Red Wings will have no choice but to win. Not that they would have much, even if it didn't go this way. Capitals and Tampa are tied at 2. That's early in the second period. Where's the other game that affects them?
Philadelphia up 1-0 against New Jersey.
End of end of the second period. Wow, guy.
Yes, guy.
And Washington 2-2 at Tampa Bay. That's early in the second period. So those are the games that affect the Red Wings. In terms of, the other game is the Rangers got by the Islanders 3-2 in a shootout, but the Islanders pick up a point. I'm looking for, did I say this? The Panthers and Buffalo tied at 2 after 40 minutes of play, and the Panthers affect the Leafs.
Well, they do, and the Penguins play tonight against the Bruins, and the Penguins have a pretty difficult schedule to finish the end of the regular season. Detroit is going to have 2 games against the Montreal Canadiens on Monday and Tuesday. They have to win out. That's the only thing they can control is how they play, and it starts tonight against the Leafs. But, we had Kenny Daniels on about half an hour ago, and, we were just talking about the progression of this Red Wings team. And, they won 6 games in a row at one point a couple months ago, and it seemed like...
Well, I think they had an 8 or 9 point lead.
And it seemed like it was well within their grasp, and it was their spot, and they were going to cruise to the playoffs. They ended up losing 7 in a row after that, and it's been tough sledding for the Red Wings. And, for a team, Jimmy, that has signed a lot of veteran guys over the past couple years.
Just the opposite of Ottawa and Buffalo.
The opposite of Ottawa and Buffalo, but it's been crazy. Every time I watch the Red Wings, and I don't know if you have this experience as well, they make a lot of mistakes that young teams would make. Like for a team that really...
It's not the young guys making the mistakes.
That's the thing right there. That's the thing. For a team that signed a lot of older guys to help them get over the hump, I'm watching them, I'm like, well, why are you making these kinds of mistakes? It doesn't make any sense. But that's been part of the story for the Red Wings this year. It's been leaky at times, and sometimes you watch them defensively, and you're like, how is that happening on a team that has this many experienced players?
We should have asked Kenny this question, but I think if you asked him, he'd tell you the 4 best Red Wings as we speak right now: Larkin, Raymond, Kane. I'm going to go 5. Seider and Edmondson.
Well, would you throw Alex Lyon into the mix as well? He's not playing tonight.
No, in and out. He's had great games and then not so great games.
Yeah, and I wonder if the Red Wings are really trying to harness what he had going last year with the Florida Panthers, where he essentially willed them into the playoffs because he's been playing a lot. And tonight it's going to be James Reimer, who's playing his 500th NHL game because Alex Lyon is fatigued. He has played a lot of hockey recently, and you kind of wonder with a back-to-back coming up against Montreal, what's the plan there? Do you give him both games? Is that why you give him a night off tonight on a Saturday night? So it'll be interesting to see what the Detroit Red Wings do. But for the Leafs, they don't have to worry about that. They just have to worry about controlling their game, and they're going to play a team with some playoff desperation, and that'll be good for them. That's a little bit of a tune-up, a little bit of a mental wake-up for them as far as what the intensity level should be like come playoff time. Because as you know, Jimmy, you've been around a long time. You've been covering this game a long time. In the playoffs, every puck battle, every race to a puck, it's intensified that much more.
Oh.
And they mean way more, and guys are going to give that extra little bit. I'm curious to see if the Red Wings have that in their game tonight, and if they do, it'll be a great opportunity for the Leafs to up their intensity level to the exact same as the Red Wings.
So here's how you get into the playoffs. The last 10 games, 7-2-1, that's the Islanders. Tampa 6-2-2. Pittsburgh 7-0-3. For those struggling, Washington 3-5-2. Detroit 3-4-3. Philadelphia 2-6-2. Those are the teams that are out, and that's why they're out.
And you know what? You shouldn't have to limp into the playoffs.
No.
Like you should, if you want to make the playoffs in the best league in the world, you should win some games that you're not exactly supposed to win. And for the Red Wings, the Caps, the Flyers, they've lost a lot of those games that they should win. And teams like Pittsburgh and the New York Islanders, who just beat the Montreal Canadiens, they've won games that they maybe weren't supposed to win. The Islanders beat the Rangers last week, and for Philadelphia, I had a Philadelphia game in Montreal a couple weeks back. Actually, I had two in a 2-week span. They went through a 7-game gauntlet against some of the best teams in the NHL. They went 2-4-1, and the sentiment after those 7 games was that could have sunk us, and it didn't. And now we have an opportunity where they were going to play Montreal twice, they were going to play Columbus and Buffalo, and you know what happened? Their scoring went dry.
Yeah.
And that sunk them because they lost all of those games. And so, for Detroit, there's been plenty of games that have been well within their grasp, and tonight is not one of those, though. Tonight they're playing the Leafs, and the Leafs are a very good team, and the Leafs have, they have to play for getting their playoff game in order, and also for Auston Matthews to maybe score 2 goals and get 70 on home ice before going down to Florida.
You see this cup of jet fuel?
Let me see, yeah.
I should have had it before the out-of-town scoreboard.
Are you running out of steam?
No, not anymore. No. The scoreboard was jumping on me, so it's a laptop thing.
Hold on, though.
Yeah.
That's not fair of me. Like, I sprung that on you out of nowhere.
But, I've been around the block a few times. I should have been... Frankie's reversed. Okay, Frankie's turning the tables. I should have been there. A little disappointed, I got to say.
That's okay. I just thought, you're the out-of-town scoreboard guy. You're the keeper of the out-of-town scoreboard. I thought you just always have it ready. It's constantly ready on a loop.
I used to when I worked with somebody else. The team wasn't that good.
Oh.
But now there's no need to do that. So
you can lean on your coworkers a little bit more.
There's more things to talk about. That was sort of a safety valve when somebody didn't want to talk. But anyway, we'll move off that.
Let me ask you something, Jimmy.
Yes.
What's more important for you tonight? Having a second line, let's say with Tavares, Marner, and Nylander play together and have success, or see Timothy Lilligren have a big night?
I want to see Lilligren have a big night, but really for me, because there's only 3 games left, what I want to see out of this team is a workmanlike approach. Just go out and do your job. And wherever that takes you, that's fine. Don't do anything silly. Don't get carried away. It's the final 3 games. Save it for the playoffs.
And we should clarify the second line tonight. And I don't want to steal your job here, but I know you're going to get to the starting lineup. The second line tonight is going to be Tavares, Marner, and McMahon. Yeah. But the last couple games.
Well, that's how it starts.
That's how it starts. And then if you go back and look, Tavares, Marner, and Nylander have been getting about 4 to 5 minutes of even strength time on ice together per game. So as much as it's starting McMahon, Tavares, and Marner, Sheldon Keefe likes to see what it looks like with that second line loaded up, and I don't blame him. I just don't think he's going to start a lot of games like that. But 4 minutes, 5 minutes of time on ice at even strength is not insignificant for those 3 to play together.
So let me ask you, let me turn the tables around on Frankie's seat.
Sure.
What do you want to see out of Lilligren tonight?
I want to see him play confident. I want to see him be assertive and be willing to do a lot of things. I want to see him be willing to get the puck, go back for the puck, and make a play on the breakout. I want to see him calling for a puck in the offensive zone. I want to see him in the neutral zone. Don't stand there and look to make a 40, 50-foot pass. Get your feet moving and see if you can get the puck moving up ice that way. For Lilligren, when he plays confident and he plays willing to get involved into the different aspects of the game, he's a much different player. Yeah. It doesn't seem like he's just a passenger. It seems like he's a guy who can do a lot more. And we heard Morgan Riley talking about his game, how he said it's been outstanding before he got hurt and left the lineup. And it would be nice for the Leafs and for Lilligren to pick up where he left off, because How many times have the playoffs come around and Lilligren gets the opportunity, and then it's the old heave-ho, and you're out because we don't think you give us a chance to win?
So take that Maple Leaf blue line and put in Lilligren with his A game. That's a significant difference, isn't it?
It is a significant difference for sure, because you're going to need to have someone who can move the puck. Like, Lyubushkin, Benoit, and Edmondson, when he is in the lineup, those guys are all kind of built the same. And as much as you need guys that clear the front of the net, guys who can break up cycles, guys who play a little bit physical, you do need guys that can move the puck. It's going to be very important so you don't spend time in your own zone, and that's something that Lilligren can do that those guys maybe don't do as well.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you to do a job description on the air. Job description is, tell me who is the perfect partner for Morgan Rielly. No names, but what does he have to bring to the table?
Man, this has been something that has been almost a work in progress, whatever you want to call it. It seems like since Ron Hainsey, they have never really found the perfect partner for Morgan Rielly. And even then, Ron Hainsey was an older guy, left-handed.
Coach.
Like, it was player coach Reg Dunlop. That's a great analogy for it. So the best partner for Morgan Rielly would be 6'2", right-handed, 205 pounds, guy who can skate fairly well, guy who can move the puck fairly well. It doesn't have to be great, but a guy who's really good in his own zone, and a guy who allows Morgan Rielly to be free to join the rush, join the breakout, play in the offensive zone, and not have to worry about, who's going to be backing him up. And does he have someone he can rely upon? Like, someone who can be the facilitator in that regard is the perfect partner for Morgan Rielly. And I would say that Lyubushkin, when he plays his best, is fine at that, but you would want like a more smooth, kind of efficient version of what Lyubushkin can be when he's at his best.
Couldn't that be Lilligren?
It could be. The problem is Lilligren is more suited to being the other jumper into the rush. The other guy who can get involved. Colorado, because Makar and Taves play together, and they both do those things. But I'm not convinced, like, those two guys are in a different stratosphere than the guys here in Toronto, and that's just no disrespect to the Leafs players. Just that's how good Makar and Taves are.
About a minute left before we break at the top of the hour and
That's
set up the opening face-off. Yeah. So what are you expecting today?
I expect the Red Wings to give the Leafs a good game, and I expect the Leafs to not only answer that, but I expect them to lead the charge tonight. I think this is going to be a very difficult night for the Red Wings, and I think the Leafs are at the point where, there's an excitement around the team. You and I were down here at Morning Skate, and you can really kind of feel that excitement in the air as far as the playoffs being around the corner and the team kind of getting their game to where it needs to be. You're not playing against New Jersey for the third time again, in 3 weeks. It's a new opponent. You're going to go down to Florida. You're going to play two really good hockey teams, and now it's all about getting your game mentally sharp to where the playoffs need it to be. And I think that's from being around here, that's where the Leafs are at right now.
Sounds exciting, guy. I have to say,
it will be.
Yes, it will be.
Tune in.
Yes, we're going to set the opening face-off for you up next. Oh, guy, where's that jet fuel? This is Leafs Game Night on TSN 1050, the iHeart Radio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
And now it's time for our Subaru weather report. So, Harold, what's it looking like?
Jim, it's a lovely spring day here on the beach. I came here for some solo time, like I do, but I got hungry instantly, so I went to Bob's Boardwalk Bistro when Bob says, "Sorry, cash only." Luckily for me, I always have a $5 bill stashed in my sandals, so I give it to Bob, and he says, "We don't accept foot money here." That's
Thanks,
how he
Harold.
talks. But now
weather
I'm
reports
starving, and I'm
don't
looking
matter
for
when
something
you
to
drive
eat.
a Subaru. Visit your local Subaru dealer today and book a test drive during the all-weather drive event.
We all have the power to shape the world. We're connected to the world we share, to each other. I am future. I wait in the world of Echo.
Discover the extraordinary with Echo, the spectacular new show by Cirque du Soleil. Opens May 8th under the Big Top at Toronto Lakeshore Boulevard West. Tickets at CirqueDuSoleil.com.
The world is yours to create.
Echo thanks its presenting partner Sun Life and its official partners Air Canada and MasterCard.
Lately, times have been challenging, with many people facing increased interest rates, inflation, and rising credit card debt. Everyone needs a little help from time to time, but it can be hard to ask for help when it comes to your personal finances. But you're not alone. Millions of Canadians share that feeling with you. 500,000 Canadians have found help with their debt, and so can you with Consolidated Credit Counseling Services of Canada. They are one of the largest non-profit credit counseling organizations in the country with an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. They can help you consolidate your bills into one affordable payment, minimize your interest rates, and get you out of debt fast. No matter how much you owe, you don't need to do this alone. To get help, call 1-800-288-4991. That's 1-800-288-4991. Let Consolidated Credit get you back to a debt-free life. Call 1-800-288-4991. Call toll-free today for a free consultation. 1-800-288-4991. Ontario license number 4705786.
3 games left, including tonight's home regular season finale, with still many things to be decided. Many wondering how far Auston Matthews' goal scoring can go in the last 3 games. And then there's the opposition tonight. Looked locked into a playoff spot weeks ago. The Wings are lurking on the outside, looking in. Will they take a step forward tonight, or will the Leafs put a pin in their balloon? Well, let's find out. Molson Canadian Leafs hockey starts now.
It's time for Molson Canadian Leafs hockey on TSN 1050 and the Leafs Radio Network. The Leafs live here.
Welcome to Molson Canadian Leafs hockey live from Scotiabank Arena, the final home game of the Leafs regular season. They've got 2 on the road, and then it's on to the playoffs. Tonight, Detroit is here. And Jim Taddy alongside Frankie Corrado, Joe Bone, and Jimmy Rouse standing by. The starting lineup is brought to you by Molson. Whether it's Canadian, Ultra, Export, or Excel, there's a Molson with your name on it. And the Leafs will start this forward unit tonight. Matthews centering Domi and Bertuzzi. Tavares between Marner and McMahon. Holmberg centering Nylander and Robertson. Camp between Reeves and Nyes. On the blue line, the pairings are Riley Labushkin, Benoit McCabe, Brody Lilligren, Samsonov starts in goal. Frankie C., what do you make of all that?
Auston Matthews has an opportunity to hit 70 goals. He needs 2 tonight, and he's going to do it playing on a red-hot first line with Bertuzzi and Domi. I like that Sheldon Keefe has kept this trio together. They've played outstanding hockey. Bobby McMahon, Jimmy, has been one of the best emerging stories all season long on the Maple Leafs, and it's a good opportunity for him to play higher in the lineup, and he does bring an element to Tavares and Marner's line that should help them playing low in the offensive zone, and the more he can disrupt play, the more Marner can have the puck, the more Tavares can do his thing lower in the zone. Jimmy, don't sleep on Nick Robertson. Every time this guy comes out of the lineup, he comes in, he scores a goal, and his play has improved a lot the last little while here, at least the last few weeks. Nick Robertson has given you a little more offense, and it seems like he's a guy that Sheldon Keefe can trust a little bit more. And playing with Holmberg and Nylander, he's going to have someone in Willie who's going to have the puck, who's going to be able to get him the puck, and basically, you know what Holmberg needs to do there? Be a guy on that line. Be a responsible player on that line, because you're playing with 2 good guys with the puck. And that fourth line of Nyes, Camp, and Reeves, be big, be bold, be physical. That's exactly what those guys can do. The big story on D, Timothy Lilligren comes back into the lineup. Morgan Riley said this morning that his play was outstanding before he got hurt. It will be very important for Lilligren, for the Maple Leafs' sake, if he can find the confidence that he has when he plays at his best, especially with the puck, because that'll be an element that they need come playoff time. And of course, Jimmy, Ilya Samsonov, coming off a poor performance against the New Jersey Devils, how does he bounce back? You and I know, come playoff time, you're going to have a night that you don't really feel good leaving the rink. You're going to have a night where your game feels like it's not at the level it needs to be. How quick can you forget about it? How quick can you bounce back? Samsonov will have an opportunity to do that on Saturday night tonight.
We're going to watch 2 things tonight. We're going to watch the game because it has implications on both sides of the ice. And then in a parallel universe, we're going to watch every time Auston Matthews touches the puck and gets a shot on goal.
And we would love to see it happen on home ice. 2 years ago against the Detroit Red Wings, Auston Matthews got goal number 59. He got goal number 60. You and I were here in the building. We got to watch it. It was a great moment, and he'll have an opportunity to be the first first player since 1992-1993 when Teemu Selanne and Alex Mogilny both eclipsed the 70-goal mark. He'll be the first player to do it since then, if it happens tonight.
Here's Coach Sheldon Keefe and what he's telling his kids about Matthew's historic caliber of play.
Oh, I'm not so sure that my kids could ever relate to what someone like Auston's going through, or many kids could. But I do know it's something that's, it's exciting. People are talking about it. I'm out and about and in the rinks and stuff with my kids, and even yesterday I was, I had probably a dozen 10-year-olds running up to me asking how many Auston's going to get. Like, everybody's excited about that. So I think it's definitely a thing. I think I referenced it the other night that there's a lot of young Leaf fans, some much older than 10, but still through their lifetime have not seen something like this in the NHL. So I get the hype and everything around it, and it is certainly fun. From my perspective, the more I get more of a thrill of just watching Auston play, and where his game is at and all of that, and wherever the number gets to, I'm not concerned about. I've never been concerned about it. I'm not even convinced he's concerned about it. I think that's where it sits right now, is a pretty tremendous accomplishment. Like I said, that many in their life have not seen. We'll see what the rest of the season brings starting here tonight. But, the most important thing for me is his game is in good order, and he's generated just terrific chemistry with Max and Bert, and it's given us so many more options as a result. So that's what's really come out of this for me.
Just a question about your approach. Do you sort of have a picture of what your playoff lineup is going to look like, or do you wait till game 82, after game 82, and who your opponent is before you put that together?
Yeah, I have a picture of it. I have for quite some time now, quite honestly. But you don't, to your point about 82, you don't have all the information until game 82. Health, opponent, all of those types of things. So you never really finalize anything. That's why it's important to still have an eye towards, you have a sense of what you're going to look like and what you want to have, and you're working towards that. But if one or two things, for right now, for us, it's Yarncroc health. That's a factor here. How does that affect the group? And if he's in, how would we use him? And if he's not in, what's the results? And so you're trying to manage these kind of things at this part of the year. Obviously, the way things have come together here with Auston and Max and Bert, that's a real thing. This is not just a short-term thing. That's a real thing that gives our team a completely different look. And we've been wanting to give that time. And you look at other things, for me, you're trying to balance getting chemistry and continuity and all of that, which on one side is important, but just how important is it? Because the reality is, for this team, the team that I coach here, and not to say that this is the way it works for everybody else, but for this team, anytime we've had disruptions or change, this group has responded positively and gotten even better. I mean, we're talking about Auston Matthews, the type of year he's had. We lost Auston unexpectedly for a game and had to kind of throw together some lines against Pittsburgh and maybe play our best game of the entire season. These are the kind of things that I think is exciting about our group. There's a lot of versatility and different people that can do different things in the skill set of the group, and whether it's guys that are in game one or some of the guys that are out, we've got some good options that have all performed very well, and we'll use 82 to sort it out. But I think what you've seen of late is a sense of how we see it going forward.
It is great for Sheldon Keefe and the coaching staff to have these options, Jimmy, because it's going to give you different looks. The challenge for them is going to be understanding when to utilize the different looks and how quickly you need to make those adjustments. Here's an example for you. The Boston Bruins last year in the playoffs. Boston all season long rotated their goaltenders. They went Ullmark, Swayman. Ullmark ended up winning the Vezina. But come playoff times, they went Ullmark all the way through up until Game 7. They ended up losing that series to the Florida Panthers, and when you hear about the stories afterwards, Ullmark was banged up. He was hurt, but they kept him in, and ultimately that's part of the reason they lose that series. So it's great to have the options, but you have to understand how do you use the options. So understanding why you're doing things is going to be so important. So if you want to have Ryan Reeves in the lineup, why do you have him in the lineup? You want Nick Robertson in the lineup? What does he bring to the table that's going to help you win? He's going to have a lot of different tools at his disposal. Now the big thing is you get a little 3-game evaluation here against a desperate team in Detroit. Then you're going to go down to Florida. You're going to play a couple really good teams down there. What does your gut feel tell you? What do the numbers tell you as you go into the first round of the playoffs as far as what is the best team to put onto the ice?
What you said, I totally agree with, because in my opinion, it's all there. The question is, will you access it at the right time?
And that's going to be the big challenge. That's why you lean on a coaching staff, an analytics department. That's why you have a little bit of a gut feel to things. And for the Maple Leafs, there's a lot of good things happening right now, led by the first line's emergence and Auston Matthews as he pushes for 70 goals tonight.
Just enough time to do this. What I love about what he said was Matthews, Domi, and Bertuzzi, that's a real thing.
That's exactly it. It is a real thing. This is not something that they're trying or force-feeding. It's happened organically, and it's something that all three players are playing at the high end of their game, and they're benefiting, and because that, the team is benefiting, because there's two really good players in Marner and Nylander that are playing lower in the lineup, and that gives you a different look than maybe you've had in years past come playoff time.
You okay with the Leafs power play?
Their special teams has not been great, Jimmy. You want to rattle it off for us, or we'll leave it at that?
Nah, we'll just leave it at that.
Okay.
So work has to be done there. There's no question about that. So both teams are on the ice. Mike Ross is going through the starting lineup introduction for the Toronto Maple Leafs. As we mentioned, for the Detroit Red Wings, hanging on by a thread. They could actually win the game and not improve their lot tonight, depending on what everybody else does. So it's non-negotiable for the Red Wings. No question about that. And for the Leafs, what will they do? What will Auston Matthews do? And we'll leave it at that. The opening faceoff is next. Joe Bone and Jimmy Ralph will be with you. This is Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050, the iHeartRadio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
This is PGA Tour Pro Smiley Kaufman, and I'm happy to announce that you can now hear me on Sports Grid Radio. Just in time for the Masters, I'm bringing my show, The Smiley Show, to channel 159, where I'll catch up with other golfers, athletes, and celebrities.
John Rahm becomes the fourth Spaniard to win at Augusta.
Join me every Tuesday and Thursday at 7 a.m. and 1 p.m. in the East on Sports Grid Radio. Channel 159 in your car and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
The Point with Boomer Gordon.
Andrew Burnett is your Jack Adams winner. 70 points in 52 games. You project that over 82, Jake. That's an 111-point pace. So they've gone head-to-head with the big boys of the West all year. Andrew Burnett inherited a new GM in Barry Trotz and a sinking payroll. And he's got this team playing as well as any team in the NHL.
Point with Boomer Gordon. 1 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app. Hockey 24/7 on SiriusXM NHL Network Radio.
This is the NHL. These are pros. You don't want guys to put good power play units on, don't take penalties. You don't want good power play units to score goals when you've given up a whole bunch, kill them. You don't like it, do something about it. If you want to reward your guys who had a good game with a chance to get some more goals and points, do it. If I was a coach, I wouldn't care. Who cares? Worry about your own team. Don't worry about mine.
SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and on your schedule with the SiriusXM app. NHL Morning Skate.
Andrew Burnett, head coach of the Nashville Predators. I think Roman Josi gets underrated nowadays.
I think maybe the consistency that he does it every year, you take it for granted a little bit. I mean, he's done everything in this game. His ability to raise his game is very unique. You know, I've been around some really good, great defensemen. He's right up there with them, and he does get over them.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick. Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app. Hockey 24/7 on SiriusXM NHL Network Radio.
This is the NHL. These are pros. You don't want guys to put good power play units on, don't take penalties. You don't want good power play units to score goals when you've given up a whole bunch, kill them. You don't like it, do something about it. If you want to reward your guys who had a good game with a chance to get some more goals and points, do it. If I was a coach, I wouldn't care. Who cares? Worry about your own team. Don't worry about mine.
SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and on your schedule with the SiriusXM app.
The
There is no competition in soccer quite like the UEFA Champions League. And it's on Sirius XM FC.
Kylian Mbappe delivering when it matters most.
The stakes are higher now in the knockout stage, where one goal can transform a club's trajectory.
Jude Bellingham's driving scores!
And one performance can turn a star into an immortal.
Erling Haaland has 5!
It's the Champions League knockout stage, and all the top matches are on Sirius XM FC 157 and the all-new Sirius XM app.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
Toronto, they don't have a face card. Like, they don't have an ace. Morgan's a jack. They have so many non-face cards that these guys are going to have to bullpen by committee. Because the real truth is this: they got a good forward group. But if you don't defend against Boston and Florida, you're not seeing Boston or Florida in round 2. That's the exam, and the test will be on this defense.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
Leafs and the Detroit Red Wings with a lot on the line, especially for the Red Wings, but a lot on the line for number 34, just 2 away from the magical 70 goals on the season. Starting netminders, Ilya Samsonov, 23-7-7 and 4-3-0 lifetime against the Detroit Red Wings. And a familiar face at the other end, James Reimer, 18-9-8, and we're underway with the puck drop, and the Red Wings go back to their own blue line to try and shovel it into the Leaf end, and they succeed in doing just that. Puck goes back into the corner now, and here's Benoit getting it ahead off a stick. No, wasn't off a stick, but goaltender Reimer came out to play the puck, so it negates an icing. But the Red Wings are going to get it out at center anyway, and Lucas Raymond plays it into the side of the Leaf goal. Reverse back into the far corner, and the Maple Leafs will play it up on the wing. Pushed ahead by Bobby McMahon, but turned over. Brought right back in by DeBrincat with a shot. Good pad save made there by goaltender Samsonov. Leafs get it through center. On the wing, Domi flipping it in for McMahon. McMahon down the boards. Domi pressures. He plays it back to the point. Morgan Riley with traffic in front of the net. And a tip wide as Matthews went right to the front of the goal. Red Wings break it back out at center. Rasmussen trying to get in over the line, or at least Comfort trying to get in over the line, but it was broken up, and a lead pass comes to center, and Domi hustles into the corner after it. Got a piece of his man. Bertuzzi slams into the near corner boards, playing it around into the corner for Domi. Domi works back along the wall, tried to chip it back to Riley, but the Red Wings intercept. They're going to get to center ice and just shoot it in. Glad you're along with us. Last regular season home game for the Maple Leafs. 2 games left on the schedule next week in Florida and Tampa. Puck down in the Detroit zone. Wally Matta gets it on the boards and out on the left wing side, and Veleno will chip it down into the Toronto end. Hustling back there was Brody. He took a fairly good hit there from Robbie Fabry. The puck comes free, and the Leafs are trying to break it out at center. Pontus Holmberg sends it in wide of the net. Unable to get to it was Robertson. The puck comes back to Holmberg, back to Robertson. Cross ice feed for Nylander. Little head fake. Carries into the corner, spins back, looks for a man, still protecting the puck along the blue line. Drops it back to the point. Off on the wing a shot. Reimer had to make a save on the short side as Nyes got it away. Nyes back checking diligently, and the Leafs get the puck to the line and in. David Camp trying to work in over in front of the net, and Mata took it away from him. Good pace to start this game, Mr. Ralph.
Yeah, James Reimer coming up with his first stop of the night, but Auston Matthews doesn't get a scoring chance in his first shift, but a great back check to come back and negate an opportunity for Rasmussen.
Here's Sprong sending it into the Leaf zone. Riley punches it into the far corner. Reeves couldn't come up with it. Here are the Red Wings with it now with an angle shot. It is quickly swallowed up there by Samsonov. He will stop play and bring a face-off into the Toronto zone.
One thing I will say about Auston Matthews, and I would think you'd agree with me on this, through this incredible season for him, no time did you ever think he was being selfish. Doesn't stay out for longer shifts on the power play than anybody else.
Doesn't pout.
You'll see.
Nope.
Doesn't go for those extra long shifts. If there's a turnover in possession, he can get up ice. Only 2 empty net goals.
Shot over top of the Leaf goal. A rebound cleared to the line. Oh, no, absolutely. And more excited for his teammates to score or make a good assist as a shot by Marner is swallowed up by Reimer.
Yeah, and even...
He really is. I mean, he's the consummate teammate. Consummate teammate.
And other than goal number 60 against Buffalo, there has been very little celebration, which would make his agent, I'm sure, very happy and proud. And one Robert Gordon Orr. I mean, as good as Bobby Orr was, if you watch the highlights,
he's embarrassed.
The most amazing thing is how there was no celebration. Of course, back then you didn't go past the bench for the high fives.
No.
He'd put his head down and go back to center ice and wait for the face-off. And then embarrass you all over again.
Yes. Face-off to the right of Reimer. Tavares waved out, Marner in. Draw goes to the Leafs, and it's back to the point. Lilligren into the lineup with a shot off the glove of Reimer into the corner. Wings get it to the line and push it out and down the ice, but it won't be far enough for icing, and that forces Brody back. He'll ring the boards with it to get it to the line, but not out. Off on the near side it comes. Trying to make a play with it now, and sending it in was Kane. It comes back along the boards to the near side. Chipped along the wall. And then shot back in on a delay, and it's touched by the Red Wings, and it's going to be offside and brought back out into the center ice area.
One thing for sure, though, is this is a fun time of year, isn't it? As you get geared up for the playoffs, teams try to get in. The Islanders can't hold on to a 1-goal lead late in the third period against the Rangers, but still get a very valuable point. What kind of first-round series would that be?
Ooh.
Not that rivalry
needs any more
needs an
fuel.
injection.
Yes. And then you see the Winnipeg Jets beat Colorado 7-0
in Colorado.
Yep. Leafs with it back in their own zone. Domi for Jake McCabe, who gets it ahead at center. Matthews trying to fish it free, comes away with it. Now he turns back up ice. Stick handles in on the left wing for Bertuzzi. A shot, big rebound. Oh, and Matthews was there, but he was hooked onto there by Ben Sherratt, and he had Reimer really kind of strung out. Domi again. Into the Detroit zone it goes. And is history going to be repeated? A couple of years ago when Matthews scored 60. The last game of the regular season was Detroit, and he finished with a pair. Back of the net for Lyubushkin. Into the far corner, tied up by Lucas Raymond. The puck goes free to the Red Wings. A centering pass comes back to the blue line, just kept in by Gostisbehere. And now Lyubushkin again, playing it up the boards, but doesn't get it by the defenseman. Right back in behind the net to the far corner once more. Lyubushkin a third attempt. This time it is tipped to center ice, and the Leafs get it ahead to Riley. He can't get in over the line, but now they do, and it is Pontus Holmberg taken to the boards heavily by Lucas Raymond. Puck in the near corner. Along the boards is played back on the far point to Lilligren. Sends it back from whence it came to Holmberg, who comes out of the area back of the goal. Back to the point it goes. Lilligren once more with a shot. That got through, but no redirect as Robertson was on the doorstep. Leafs again into the forecheck. Red Wings get it up on the wing, and they'll get it out at center ice. Only to have Toronto punch it back, but it is intercepted and brought back in over the line by Daniel Sprong. Sprong on the right wing will ring the boards with it. That got past goaltender Samsonov, but the Leafs are the beneficiaries of it as Robertson now plays it around the boards for Brody, and Brody is forced back in his own zone. Latches onto a Red Wing player, but no penalty. Red Wings get it in front, and a shot rings off the side of the goal by Chernik. Played back into the corner. All of this on a pass by Robertson in his own end, and instead of going north, he started to come south with it. Leafs get it to the blue line, and now Camp gets it across the line. Flipped in for Nyes. Knocked down by Reeves. Reeves can't get it in any deeper, and the Red Wings start back with it. Reeves intercepting a pass. Leafs get it up on the wing, and Reeves will solidify it by getting it off on the left wing, and McCabe sends it down into Detroit territory. Coming up on 7 minutes. Here's an interception and a backhand by Matthews. It went just wide. Here's Bertuzzi with it again. Bertuzzi hooked onto, and the puck comes free. Boy, he just stole that puck.
I think he may have put that off the crossbar.
All right, we'll get another look at it. It did come out at a strange angle, but the play was just
a nothing play, and all of a sudden Matthews jumps in and swoops in on James Reimer on the short side.
Amazing what he can do, and how quick. Yeah, you're right. Off the crossbar and out. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
I have been a Taylor Swift fan for as long as I can remember. I have vivid memories of singing this song so loudly with my friends back when we were in high school. You belong with me.
Hey, it's Taylor.
For 1 month, listen now.
SiriusXM, Channel 13, Taylor's version.
Her music can connect with anybody.
Hey, Toronto. I'm David Morsuti, host of the daily Toronto Maple Leafs podcast, Locked On Leafs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network on the SiriusXM app. Every weekday, we bring you the latest Leafs news and analysis, break down all the action, including this game you're listening to right now, and preview the next one. We're giving you everything a Leafs fan could want, all in a daily 30-minute podcast. Download Locked On Leafs right now on the SiriusXM app, available with all trials and popular plans, or where you get your podcasts. Search Locked On.
There is no competition in soccer quite like the UEFA Champions League. And it's on SiriusXM FC.
Kylian Mbappe delivering when it matters most.
The stakes are higher now in the knockout stage, where one goal can transform a club's trajectory.
Jude Bellingham's driving, scores!
And one performance can turn a star into an immortal.
Erling Haaland has 5!
It's the Champions League knockout stage, and all the top matches are on SiriusXM FC 157 and the all-new SiriusXM app.
Hockey lives here.
Suzuki sweeps it. There's a chance. Rebound, Caulfield shoots and scores.
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM.
Leafs are in the process of signing Cade Weber from Boston University after his season ended. He's likely to join the team on the Florida trip, and who knows, maybe part of the deal was we'll get you into a game and use up a year on that contract.
Yep, Matthew Nyes, we saw faced in the Frozen Four.
Yep, absolutely.
Actually, it was played down in Tampa.
So that you didn't have to travel.
His first 2 games were Florida and Tampa in the regular season.
Played into the center ice area. McMahon couldn't come up with it, but got back to get position on the Detroit player, and the Leafs have the puck in their own end. A pass up the middle finds McMahon. Tried to find Tavares. It goes by everybody in along the boards. Tavares in pursuit. Down the boards. Riley got a shot away. That went wide of the net. The Red Wings play it to center ice. Quickly played back now, and Tavares turns. Tavares holds and brings it to the line. And Mitch Marner looked like the turkey wishbone at Thanksgiving, trying to hang on to that blue line. Red Wings bring it back. Larkin sends it into the left wing corner. Christian Fischer in there after it. The Leafs come out with it. Got it ahead. McMahon just gets it into center ice and heads to the bench. Red Wings backpedaling in their own end. No score, first period. 12:03 left to play. Brought on by the Red Wings. Veleno gets in over the line. Lilligren is hammered against the boards, and there's going to be a penalty here. And the Leafs pile in there after it. Lilligren is up and holding his head.
That was Joe Veleno that came in and got Lilligren right in the numbers. He got up on his own, made his way towards the Leafs bench, and is doubled over, but appears to be okay.
He is not going to the open door that would lead to the dressing room. He's gone to the bench.
It's going to be a minor penalty for boarding, and Maybe a lot of that was because Lilligren was able to get up. This was sort of like a little... I mean, this looks bad. It's kind of an even race going in. But Veleno extends his arms to push Lilligren into the boards, and the Leafs go on the power play.
Power play brought to you by Subaru. Embrace spring weather with the Subaru all-weather drive event. Visit your local Subaru dealer to book a test drive today. Had to hurry with the commercial because the Leafs have a penchant for scoring 3 or 4 seconds after the penalty.
Or not at all.
Drive to the right of the Detroit goal. Taking a while to drop the puck. And here we go. Kick to the near boards. Played back of the net. Grabbed off by Sherratt. Into the corner, and it is launched out and down the ice. And caught there by goaltender Samsonov, and left there for the Leafs to bring out. Riley got it ahead on the wing for Tavares. A drop pass, just corralled by Matthews. He hits the blue line and into the left wing from Tavares. Played back to the blue line. It goes to Riley. Far side, Nylander. Near side, Marner scores! You couldn't have a bigger open net. Was there interference?
I think this is going to be fine. And maybe just as important in this kind of underlined milestone that has been buried because of Auston Matthews, Willie Nylander's 97th point on that great pass through the seam to Mitch Marner. Good entry by the Leafs, good control. And it was as if the Red Wings all got preoccupied with Auston Matthews. Everyone seemed to be gazing towards number 34, and Nylander from the top of the right wing circle finds Mitch Marner open at the bottom of the left wing circle and puts it in before James Reimer could react.
Well, this is one area that needs to improve.
2 for 27 in the 10 games coming in, and as you mentioned, the 2 goals were both scored 3 seconds into the power play.
Now the loose puck in front of the goal comes back to the point. McCabe swinging it around back of the net for Nyes. Nyes works back along the boards. Got some help from David Camp. Camp sends it right back to Nyes. He does a nice job of battling for the puck there with Aston Reese. Got it back of the goal. Nyes stops up. Still with it back of the net. Rolls it in front of the goal, and it was knocked by Camp just wide of the net. Boy, Nyes has just taken over this line, has he not? Long shot off the chest of Samsonov.
Well, I mean, remember how good he was in New Jersey. He didn't score, but was absolutely dominant on the forecheck, cycling low.
Brought on now by the Red Wings, right wing side. Raymond rolls it in front of the goal, and a backhand went off a Leaf stick into the near corner. The Leafs power play in the first 57 games was second in the National Hockey League. 29.3%. As the Wings get it in, but a good back check by Bertuzzi turns the puck over. He starts back at center. On the left wing for Matthews. Matthews back for Bertuzzi, and it was knocked away. And everybody in the building is yelling, shoot. Here are the Red Wings back the other way. Pass to the right wing side, they score! A 2-on-1 break set up by Lucas Raymond.
Well, Morgan Riley joined the rush with Matthews, Domi, and Bertuzzi. And when the puck was turned over, Riley ended up getting caught, and that led to the 2-on-1 back the other way. T.J. Brody could not take the pass away. And boy, this is another thing that has got to be cleaned up going into the postseason. The number of odd man rushes given up. No chance for Ilya Samsonov. And on their 6th shot of the night, Detroit has tied the game 1-1.
DeBrincat gets the goal. And the Maple Leafs are in a tie, 1-1. Red Wings back in their own end. Played off by Seider and shot high, and it's gone into the crowd and out of play. So Marner from Nylander and Riley is the Leafs scoring play. And then Raymond sets up DeBrincat to get the Red Wings on the board. It is a 1-1 tie. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
From the biggest stadiums to the coziest holes in the wall. From house parties to porch hangs to pride celebrations. From your favorite fuzz shop to your local Indian spot. From noodle bars to sports bars to salsa bars. There's a Molson with your name on it. Canadian Ultra XL. Molson. Everyone in. Must be legal drinking age.
And now it's time for our Subaru weather report. So, Harold, what's it looking like?
Jim, we can expect more thunderstorms as the evening approaches, and then overnight... Oh, hold on. Yeah, can I get 2 number 6s with a side of curly fries? Hold the onions, please. Yeah.
Harold, are you in the drive-thru right now?
Jim, no one listens to this. Oh, thank you. Yep, great.
Weather reports don't matter when you drive a Subaru. Visit your local Subaru dealer today and book a test drive during the all-weather drive event.
In a world full of screens, schedules, and selfies, your eyes deserve a little focus. When was the last time you gave them the attention they needed? At Iris, we understand the importance of clear vision. Our optometrists provide comprehensive eye exams to ensure your eyes are healthy and happy. Don't waste any time. Visit iris.ca to book your eye exam today. Iris, premium eye care, stylish eyewear.
A lot of alumni in attendance tonight, and on our first period honoring the troops, and a jersey presented by Normie Ullman.
Great to see Normie here.
Yep.
On the way out of town, scoreboard, Buffalo, Florida are in overtime. The Panthers start, though, with a 4-on-3 power play for a little over a minute.
Face-off is at center ice, 9:36 to play in the period. And the Leafs win the face-off, and Benoit plays to the line, but didn't get it in deep. And Domi got it to the line, got it in over the line, then couldn't make a pass. And it is finally shot by McCabe into Detroit territory. Domi down the boards, couldn't get it away there from Sherratt. And Sherratt swings the puck around to the near side, and Patrick Kane launches a high backhand all the way back down into the Toronto zone. Benoit circles his goal, then sent a wired shot about waist high that if you didn't have your catching equipment on, you might not be able to get it. And it's all the way down for an icing.
So the Matthews line will stay out on the ice here. Detroit Red Wings have missed the playoffs 7 straight seasons after a 25-year run. Guess how they paid for the 25-year run when they made the playoffs all those years, won some Stanley Cups? They have not had a number 3 pick in the NHL draft, top 3 pick, since 1990.
Wow.
Keith Primo.
Played off the boards to center. Bertuzzi launches it in. He was a second-round pick of the Red Wings. Now with the Maple Leafs. And blocks a pass, but can't take advantage of it. Aston Reese got it out and down the ice. It's gone wide of the goal, and an icing call coming here. Just to finish up on the power play situation, when it was second in the league, they were clicking along at 29.3%. The last 22 games, they've scored 6 of 62, 9.7%. Now, if it had maintained itself around second or third, where do you think Auston Matthews would be?
Oh, I know. Well, he did, up until the Marner goal, have the only 2 power play goals that took less than 3 seconds to score. He scored twice right off the faceoff against Pittsburgh and against the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Nylander has to take the draw as Tavares was waved out. And the Red Wings get it to center ice. It'll be flipped in by Olli Määttä. Down into the corner goes Morgan Rielly to punch it around the boards to Marner. Marner, a rink-wide pass to Nylander. Nylander hits the line. Rielly is in the rush and takes the pass. Centered! Through the goal crease, no one home. Pass in front of the net from Marner. Just connected. Now a shot by Marner. Goes wide of the goal. Marner behind the net for Tavares. Tried to play it back to him, but it was intercepted. And Edvinsson gets it out and into center ice territory. Leafs have to go back. We're tied at a goal. McCabe makes a nice move to get away from traffic. Got it up on the wing, turning back with it. Brody dropped off for Nylander. He'll drop it again, and the Leafs are trying to get a change going. McCabe A little stutter step to gain some room in the center ice area and pumps it in. Reimer out of the cage to block it. Sends it high off the glass up on the left wing. And Christian Fischer will get it out at center, only to have it intercepted now by Reeves, who plays back into his own zone. Brody and Benoit exchanging the puck. Benoit goes back of the net. Round the boards for Brody. Looks up ice. Nyes is with him. The alley-oop pass goes down into Detroit territory. Reeves into the boards with a hit. Pinching down was Benoit, but he got beaten, and the puck gets ahead, and a good hit there by Lyubushkin. Took down Aston Reese. Played back along the boards, and Nyes chipping it out at center. Nyes to the line and shoots it in. Around the boards to the far corner. Sherratt holding off the forecheck. Played it ahead. Kicked up nicely by Sprong. He'll shoot it in. Out of the net. Samsonov. Leafs regain possession. And an errant pass to center ice looking for Robertson. Didn't connect. Comfer for Detroit. Fires it right back down into Toronto territory. Lyubushkin with another hit. Riley chipping it along but didn't get it far enough. It'll come back to the point. Long shot wide of the goal. Far side trapped in there by Edmondson. Edmondson with a pass in front. Got again and he scores! The defenseman Edmondson is able to give the Red Wings a 2-1 lead.
The Red Wings, this is just being able to control the puck in the offensive zone until something opened up. And a lot of Leafs appear to be a little lost in the defensive assignments. And unfortunately for Ilya Samsonov, that's 2 goals on 7 shots. Gave up 6 on 20. 2 nights ago against the New Jersey Devils in the 6-5 loss.
For Edmondson, that is his first goal of the season. And the Red Wings, here's a loose puck in the Toronto goal crease area that is cleared away. And it's back out into the center ice area. Red Wings shoot it right back in again. It's his second or third. Now here's a loose puck in front of the Leaf goal, cleared into the corner. Third goal in his career. Brody being double teamed, got the puck free, played it around the boards. It's going to find Bertuzzi, and Bertuzzi just launches it high into the center ice area. Red Wings knock it down and control in their own zone. Moritz Seider dropping back, waiting for teammates to change. And gets to the red line and sends a long shoot in on Samsonov, who will glove it and bring a face-off in the Toronto zone. 5 minutes and 25 seconds remain in the first period. The Red Wings have their first lead of the game after Marner opened the scoring. DeBrincat and Edmondson have scored. 2-1 Red Wings. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
They are among the greatest to ever play their sports.
Caitlin Clark is the all-time scoring leader.
They are legends and icons.
Larry Bird hit the shot with no second thought. I don't know how he did it.
And you can hear them right now on the all-new Sirius XM app.
We are here with Iowa superstar Caitlin Clark.
I'm so focused on winning. It's never anything I ever take for granted.
Here comes Larry Bird, the Hall of Famer, and he just won Legend of the Year.
Legend of the Year, isn't that something? For access to the game's greats, rely on the leader in sports audio. Sirius XM and the Sirius XM app.
The Point with Boomer Gordon.
Andrew Burnett is your Jack Adams winner. 70 points in 52 games. You project that over 82, Jake. That's an 111-point pace. So they've gone head-to-head with the big boys of the West all year. Andrew Burnett inherited a new GM in Barry Trotz and a sinking payroll. And he's got this team playing as well as any team in the NHL.
Point with Boomer Gordon. 1 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
There is no competition in soccer quite like the UEFA Champions League. and it's on Sirius XM FC.
Kylian Mbappe delivering when it matters most.
The stakes are higher now in the knockout stage, where one goal can transform a club's trajectory.
Jude Bellingham's driving, scores!
And one performance can turn a star into an immortal.
Erling Haaland has 5!
It's the Champions League knockout stage, and all the top matches are on Sirius XM FC 157 and the all-new Sirius XM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
Red Wings 2, the Maple Leafs 1. Face-off coming in the Toronto zone to the left.
I know, it seems like it's a foregone conclusion that the Leafs will play the Florida Panthers in the first round.
Not so quick.
Not so quick. Florida's actually a point ahead of the Boston Bruins. Bruins have 2 games in hand now. But Florida does beat the Buffalo Sabres in overtime. So right now, it's 108 in points for Florida, 107 for the Bruins.
Here are the Red Wings winning the face-off. They work in on the left wing with a shot. Blockered away there by Samsonov. Puck into the corner, centered. Samsonov stops that. Off the stick of David Perron. And the puck in the skates of the players right at the blue line. The Leafs are able to come away with it. And McCabe playing it ahead. Marner, nice feed to get it up to Benoit. Benoit to the left wing side. McMahon gets it back to him. A sharp angle shot. Stopped there by Reimer, who looked like he was away from the post a little bit there. And it is played to center ice.
They really have not made James Reimer work so far, have they? Just 6 shots against 11 for the Red. Well, 10 now. They took one away for Detroit.
And played down into the Toronto zone. Never in the history of this league have they changed the shots as frequently as they have this season. Leafs with it with a centering pass. It didn't connect. And you being the king of shots on goal.
That's all I got.
I know.
I don't even do the score.
No. Red Wings back in their own zone. Valeno tripped up there by Nyes, who's going to get a penalty. Red Wings will go to the power play as Mata brings it into the Toronto zone, and it's touched by Nyes, and he'll go to the box. And the penalty kill is brought to you by CMC Markets. Take your trading to the next level with $0 commission on stocks.
Well, we talked about the importance of specialty teams. Even if you go to the game against New Jersey 2 nights ago, the Leafs give up 3 power play goals. They go 0 against the Devils and lose a 1-goal game. And when everything gets magnified once you get to the postseason, Valeno may have put the Speedos on a little there and got to the edge of the board. Either that or Matthew Nyes has the strength of Superman. Pull him off his skates like that.
Leafs get it to the wing, and a backhand by Marner will clear as it rolls all the way back behind the Detroit goal.
Red Wings are 11th overall in the NHL in the power play, which is respectable. Just 2 for 13 in their last 5, though.
Brought on by Detroit to the line and in by Larkin. Fed off on the wing. A pass attempted by Raymond didn't make it through. Now played by Kane down around back of the net. Marner in pursuit. Cut off by Perron around the boards. Kane to the point, off on the right wing side, in front with a shot that was blocked as Larkin got it away. Gostisbehere looking for a loose puck as it comes back to the side of the Leaf goal. Centering pass, knocked back along the boards, cleared out and down the ice by Marner. And the Leafs will get a wholesale change of penalty killers, and the Red Wings are going to keep that first unit, or at least most of it, out there as they start back up ice. Larkin coming out of his own zone. Drops it back for Kane. Kane, a nice pass for Larkin. Can't drive in on the defense of Lyubushkin, and it is shot out and down the ice again by Toronto. 48 seconds left to go in the penalty. Lots of Red Wing fans here as the Red Wings get it in over the line. Right wing side for Comfer. Around the boards, it'll be tipped to the line, but not out. Kept alive by Sprong. Pass into the corner, centering pass, big save, rebound, scores! A brilliant pad save by Samsonov, but unfortunately it went right out to the back door And the Red Wings are there, and snapping it home is Alex DeBrincat. And Detroit has a 2-goal lead.
The problem is twofold. My man wide open in the slot to get the original shot. The rebound goes to a man wide open to the right of Ilya Samsonov. You're down one man, but two men were wide open for the opposition. A bit of a fortunate carom off the right pad of Samsonov into the left wing circle onto the stick of DeBrincat. But the Red Wings, who trailed first on a power play goal by Mitch Marner, have scored 3 straight. And boy, this is another rough stretch for Ilya Samsonov, isn't it?
11th power play goal for DeBrincat, his second goal of the game. A shot is blocked in the slot area, but the Red Wings are back in control of the puck. Sider with a shot that was intercepted. Played ahead for Bertuzzi. Bertuzzi trying to find Domi, but had it knocked away there by Chernik. And the Red Wings have it again. Sider playing it back into his own zone. An errant pass goes down. Wow, that's not icing?
What? The linesman put the whistle to his mouth and then stopped. Kind of glanced over at the referee and then stopped.
Here's Riley. Ahead for Robertson on the wing. Got it back and fled into the corner then by Marner. Back of the net. Marner with it to Tavares. Trying to get a shot away, and it rolled off his stick and just went wide of the far post. Played out at center ice and a pass ahead for Marner. Marner looking to the right wing side and finding McCabe. Weak shot off his stick, went wide. Into the corner goes Robertson. His centering pass in front of the net for Marner. He doesn't shoot it. Marner with it again at the blue line. Little stutter step, and now a pass to the left wing side. And Tavares trying to get it on his forehand. Couldn't get the shot away. Marner carries on from behind the net. Coming out in front. Still with it. Marner with a shot that deflects into the near corner. Played back to the blue line by Tavares. Well out of the reach, though, of Benoit. Long shoot in goes wide. Now Matthews line back on the ice for Toronto with 35 seconds left to play in the period. Played out into neutral ice. Lilligren back into the fray after taking that hit. Not sure he's been on since, as it goes down into the Toronto zone. Round back of the net. A centering pass. Sharp angle. Scores. Oh my. Red Wings have scored 4. And David Perron has them celebrating 4-1. And will that prompt a change? That one had an odor.
Well, pretty dangerous time of the season. I know we talked off air before the game started that a little surprised that this start didn't go to Joseph Woll. Last 2 games of the year are back-to-back, so Woll will only get one of those. And the thought of maybe having 2 guys ready is a lot more important at this moment, isn't it? Like we said, Ilya Samsonov now 10 goals against in his last 4 periods here on home ice. And all 10 goals on 33 shots.
And the final seconds ticking down as Lyubushkin carries it back into his own zone. And it's played deep into Detroit territory, and there's the horn. So after an encouraging start with Mitch Marner scoring the power play goal, the Red Wings score 4 unanswered goals, and they'll carry a lead to the second period.
What do you think? Do you make a goaltending change now? I don't know if Samsonov and Woll were expected to split the last 2 games, or if Martin Jones and Woll were supposed to get games. This period might have changed a few things.
I agree. We'll ship it off to Jim Taddy and Frankie Corrado. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
The 2024 election on Sirius XM.
To fight for our democracy. That's been the work of my first term.
Thrilled to be back with thousands of proud American patriots.
Where every voice matters.
I'm as far left as you can get.
This president has not complied with his oath.
Left, right, center, decided, or undecided.
We have to use our voices. We have to stand up for what we believe.
The only place for every perspective and your voice about your vote on Sirius XM.
The Points with Boomer Gordon.
Andrew Burnett is your Jack Adams winner. 70 points in 52 games. You project that over 82, Jake. That's an 111-point pace. So they've gone head-to-head with the big boys of the West all year. Andrew Burnett inherited a new GM in Barry Trotz and a sinking payroll. And he's got this team playing as well as any team in the NHL.
Points with Boomer Gordon. 1 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. Hockey 24/7 on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
This is the NHL. These are pros. You don't want guys to put good power play units on, don't take penalties. You don't want good power play units to score goals when you've given up a whole bunch, kill them. You don't like it, do something about it. If you want to reward your guys who had a good game with a chance to get some more goals and points, do it. If I was a coach, I wouldn't care. Who cares? Worry about your own team, don't worry about mine.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. NHL Morning Skate.
Andrew Burnett, head coach of the Nashville Predators. I think Roman Josi gets underrated nowadays.
I think maybe the consistency that he does it every year, you take it for granted a little bit. I mean, he's done everything in this game. His ability to raise his game is very unique. You know, I've been around some really good, great defensemen. He's right up there with them, and he does get over them.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick. Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. Hockey 24/7 on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
This is the NHL. These are pros. You don't want guys to put good power play units on, don't take penalties. You don't want good power play units to score goals when you've given up a whole bunch, kill them. You don't like it, do something about it. If you want to reward your guys who had a good game with a chance to get some more goals and points, do it. If I was a coach, I wouldn't care. Who cares? Worry about your own team, don't worry about mine.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and on your schedule with the Sirius XM app.
There is no competition in soccer quite like the UEFA Champions League. And it's on Sirius XM FC.
Kylian Mbappe delivering when it matters most.
The stakes are higher now in the knockout stage, where one goal can transform a club's trajectory.
Jude Bellingham's driving scores!
And one performance can turn a star into an immortal.
Erling Haaland has 5!
It's the Champions League knockout stage, and all the top matches are on Sirius XM FC 157 and the all-new Sirius XM app.
The Power Play with Steve.
They don't have an ace. Morgan's a jack. They have so many non-face cards that these guys are going to have to bullpen by committee, because the real truth is this: they got a good forward group. But if you don't defend against Boston and Florida, you're not seeing Boston or Florida in round 2. That's the exam, and the test will be on this defense.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey is on TSN 1050 and the Leafs Radio Network. The Leafs live here.
And trailing 4-1 after the first 20 minutes of play. TSN After 20 is brought to you by Subaru. Embrace the spring weather with the Subaru All-Weather Drive event. Visit your local Subaru dealer to book a test drive today. Jim Taddy and Frankie Corrado with you. Was that a test drive or what?
Yeah, that was a tentative test drive is what that was. And it was a promising start for the Leafs, but a lot of lack in attention to detail in their game. A goaltender that looks really shaky.
Ooh.
Some defensive mistakes, and you find yourself down 4-1 after one period to the Detroit Red Wings on home ice, Jimmy.
And 4 goals in 9 minutes and 39 seconds. There was no response after the Marner goal on the power play and the hit that drew the power play. The Leno on Lilligren seemed to be a rallying point, but then it all dissipated quickly.
Let's start there. I don't like the hit on Lilligren, but good for everyone that's on the ice. The first player in there is Nick Robertson. He comes over, there's a little bit of a scrum, and then later in that period, Lilligren went back after Veleno. He hit him right by the benches. So good for Lilligren, standing up for himself, taking a number, taking matters into his own hands. The Leafs get a power play goal. It's quick work. Off the entry, it's a seam pass to Marner. It's in the back of the net, and that's something that the power play hasn't been lately, is efficient. So it was good there, and then it's, now everything we talk about, Jimmy, is going to be, what does that mean come playoff time?
Yeah.
And you have the momentum, and you give it back with an unforced error. Alex DeBrincat's going to score his 25th goal of the season on a 2-on-1 situation. because a defenseman is up in the rush on a clear-cut 3-on-2, shouldn't be. The rush gets broken up. That defenseman has pinched in now, leads to a 2-on-1. That's under. You don't need to be in that rush at that given moment.
I know, but how did the 3-on-2 start? Larkin was in the slot and he got his pocket picked by Bertuzzi.
Right. So it was a great back check by Bertuzzi. That's a great point by you. So that's twice now. The forwards do a good job. The forward does a good job coming back to end the Larkin chance. The forwards do a pretty good job getting through the neutral zone, making that rush happen. But defensemen are good. They're going to break up a 3-on-2, 3-on-3 rush. The defenseman Morgan Rielly cannot be in that situation. Leads to a 2-on-1. I didn't like the shot. Like, I didn't like that went in. It went through Ilya Samsonov, and that was the first of 4 instances when it came to goals on Samsonov that period that I didn't really like, Jimmy.
Yeah, I think, and let's not forget the Matthews, the giveaway to Matthews that he rhymed off the off the crossbar.
Off the crossbar, yeah. Matthews had a really good opportunity, and he's had some good jump. He's looked good in this game. He had a couple times where he comes back into his own zone, breaks something up. Like, he really has been a transporter of the puck, through all 3 zones. And then the second goal for Detroit, Jimmy.
Yeah.
A guy we talked about in the pregame, Simon Edvinsson, who is a highly touted prospect for the Red Wings, has been in Grand Rapids a lot of the year, has come up, and he made William Nylander look like the rookie in that situation.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's on the boards, on the half wall, passes it low, gets Willie mixed up in where he's going, beats him to the spot of the ice where he gets the shot off, and he beats Ilya Samsonov, and now it's 2-1 Red Wings at that point.
Well, and from there it's an unravel. There's no response. I think that's how you would describe what happens is after the DeBrincat goal, you're going, where's the pushback? There wasn't. Edvinsson scores, where's the pushback? There wasn't. And then 2 more go in.
Well, you know what happened? A lazy penalty happens, right? Matthew Nyes takes a penalty, and Detroit goes back to the power play, and then it's almost like it's a shot by Comfer that goes off the pad and onto DeBrincat's stick, but it's another situation. It's like, can you handle that a little bit better? Does that rebound have to be right on DeBrincat's tape? Sure enough, it is. And then David Perron scores late in the period with 19 seconds remaining on the clock, and it's like, that's the ultimate squeaker. That's the one that really can't go in, and it does. And I don't know what you do with Samsonov to start the second period. Do you pull him, or do you put him back in?
That's the ultimate question, because as we said in the pregame, based on what happened in the last game, what you don't need is a soft night from your goalie.
And that's exactly what's happened. So, one soft game against the New Jersey Devils. Tonight was supposed to be his bounce back, and that was going to be a challenge for him coming into tonight. He hasn't handled that well. So now you start thinking, if you're in the coach's office, okay, are we going to put him back out there and let him play through it? Or Joseph Wall has not played in a while. Do we need to get him the last 40 minutes of this game and see what we can get from him? And then you make a decision on what you're going to do in the back-to-back situation in Florida when it comes to the goaltenders.
I think it all depends on how you diagnose what happened in that first period. If it's something to be alarmed about, you make changes. If it isn't, you let everybody play their way out of it.
Well, so I think you have to ask yourself this. How much leash does Samsonov have come playoff time? How many bad games is he allowed to have before he loses the net? Because if you ask me,
in the regular season,
no, come playoff time.
Oh, it's the short leash.
Well, yeah, and it should be. But if you ask me, he gets one game where he doesn't play very well. He can get the net back. If that game doesn't go well, the net is not his anymore. And so now you look at it. Okay,
you want to do that? I mean, he could be down 2-0.
You could be, but now you get a game against New Jersey that wasn't your game. I feel like you always give players an opportunity to redeem themselves.
Sure.
So he has the opportunity tonight, but it hasn't gone his way tonight, and he hasn't played well. He hasn't looked sharp. He doesn't look like the same Samsonov we saw, for basically the whole second half of the season. So now what do you do? What's your plan? How does it change?
Well, just before I back the bus up, I mean, let's just be honest here. What you're seeing from the entire roster is a continuation of what you saw against the Devils.
Yeah, it's sloppy hockey, and it's unforced errors, and in a good way, those are things that are fixable.
Sure.
But you have to actually have the mental fortitude to fix them and to stay with it and not be a team that's going to be leaky defensively, because that is going to lead to a goaltending situation tonight from the New Jersey game that is not conducive to winning hockey games. So plenty of time left, 40 minutes. Maybe it's a good opportunity for Sheldon Keefe to address some of the issues that this team may have right now and give them a real dose of honesty coming out for the second period. And as a group, they need to find a way to be resilient and get themselves to a level that is more conducive to winning games at this point in the season, like we talked about against the Detroit Red Wings, who are a desperate team fighting for their playoff lives.
If it was me, I would say play yourselves out of it. You got yourself into the problem, play yourself out.
Sure, that you know what, and that very well may be the case. We may see Ilya Samsonov come out for the second period, and I wouldn't be surprised, but I also think it sends a message that, like, we are not going to put up with, lack of attention to detail defensively. It sends a message to your team. And for the goaltender, it's like, we know what you can do. We know where your game has been at. It's up to you to get your game there. And, there's someone waiting to play, and that would be Joseph Woll. Mind you, his game hasn't been very good recently, and his game is far from where it was when he was at his best.
Careful use of words, right?
I guess so. I guess it is.
4-1 Detroit over the Leafs after 20 minutes of play. This is Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050, the iHeart Radio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
Breaking story from Alpine News Network. Sandra and Kabir are celebrating 50 years of marriage by turning their boring bedroom into a spicy one. Oh my. Alpine Credit sent a super strength hero to help with a home renovation loan. New floors, windows, a heart-shaped button that plays this tune. Okay, I think that's quite enough. Own your home? Need a loan? Alpine Credits can help.
Alpine Credits, where homeowners get approved. Fiscal license 12616.
The Stanley Cup Playoffs Bracket Challenge presented by Betway.net is back. And now it's time to take your shot. Scores! Face off against family and friends. And take aim at predicting this year's playoffs. Whether you're pulling for the Panthers, going big on the Blue Shirts, or seeing stars all the way, who do you think hoists the cup this year? Sign up today for a chance to win exclusive prizes at NHL.com/bracket.
And now it's time for our Subaru weather report. So, Harold, what's it looking like?
Jim, it's a lovely spring day here on the beach. I came here for some solo time, like I do, but I got hungry instantly, so I went to Bob's Boardwalk Bistro when Bob says, "Sorry, cash only." Luckily for me, I always have a $5 bill stashed in my sandals, so I give it to Bob, and he says, "We don't accept foot money here." That's
Thanks,
how he
Harold.
talks. But now
Weather
I'm starving,
reports
and I'm
don't
looking
matter
for
when
something
you
to
drive
eat.
a Subaru. Visit your local Subaru dealer today and book a test drive during the all-weather drive event.
From the biggest stadiums to the coziest holes in the wall. From house parties to porch hangs to pride celebrations. From your favorite fuss shop to your local Indian spot. From noodle bars to sports bars to salsa bars. There's a Molson with your name on it. Canadian Ultra XL. Molson. Everyone in. Must be legal drinking age.
We all have the power to shape the world. We're connected to the world we share, to each other. I am future. I wait in the world of Echo.
Discover the extraordinary with Echo, the spectacular new show by Cirque du Soleil. Opens May 8th under the Big Top at Toronto Lakeshore Boulevard West. Tickets at CirqueDuSoleil.com.
The world is yours to create.
Echo thanks its presenting partner Sun Life and its official partners Air Canada and MasterCard.
Do you love deli meat but are careful about your sodium intake? Try new Schneider's Deli Meat with the delicious taste you've come to expect from Schneider's. Now with 25% less sodium than regular deli meats. They're crafted in Canada using only Schneider's premium cuts of meat, and they're an excellent source of protein. Try all 5 new deli meats, including smoked Black Forest ham and herb turkey from Schneider's. Trusted by Canadians for over 130 years. Brand power helping you buy better.
The Out-of-Town Scoreboard is brought to you by Maple Toyota. Build your next dream Toyota at Maple Toyota and check out Maple Toyota's pre-owned inventory. It's arriving daily, and it's time to Toyota. Visit mapletoyota.com. Here's what we have in the Out-of-Town Scoreboard. Capitals 3-2 over the Lightning. That is late in the third period. After 20 minutes of play, Senators and Canadiens tied at 1. Final from earlier today, the Rangers got by the Islanders in a shootout 3-2. Stars got by Seattle 3-1. Jets bombed Colorado 7-0. Panthers got by the Buffalo Sabres 3-2 in overtime. Philadelphia Flyers, who now own the wild card spot temporarily because things are going to happen, got by the Devils by a score of 1-0. Getting set to start Columbus in Nashville, Boston in Pittsburgh, later on Vancouver and Edmonton against the Oilers, the Ducks visiting the LA Kings, and Minnesota in San Jose against the Sharks. In our game, it is 4-1. Detroit over the Leafs after 20 minutes of play. This is Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050, the iHeart Radio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
The biggest clubs in world soccer clash at the UEFA Champions League. And it's on Sirius XM FC.
What a brilliant finish that is from Avinia!
After a thrilling 3-2 win in Paris, Barcelona hosts PSG in the second leg of the quarterfinals with a spot in the last four on the line.
Breaks to Dembele, left-footed right into the back of the net!
Barcelona versus PSG, Tuesday at 3 Eastern on Sirius XM FC 157 and streaming on the Sirius XM app.
The Point with Boomer Gordon.
Andrew Burnett is your Jack Adams winner. 70 points in 52 games. You project that over 82, Jake. That's an 111-point pace. So they've gone head-to-head with the big boys of the West all year. Andrew Burnett inherited a new GM in Barry Trotz and a sinking payroll. And he's got this team playing as well as any team in the NHL.
Points with Boomer Gordon. 1 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
There is no competition in soccer quite like the UEFA Champions League. And it's on Sirius XM FC.
Kylian Mbappe delivering when it matters most.
The stakes are higher now in the knockout stage, where one goal can transform a club's trajectory.
Jude Bellingham's driving scores!
And one performance can turn a star into an immortal.
Erling Haaland has 5!
It's the Champions League knockout stage, and all the top matches are on Sirius XM FC 157 and the all-new Sirius XM app.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
Toronto, they don't have a face card. Like, they don't have an ace. Morgan's a jack. They have so many non-face cards that these guys are going to have to bullpen by committee. Because the real truth is this, they got a good forward group. But if you don't defend against Boston and Florida, you're not seeing Boston or Florida in round 2. That's the exam, and the test will be on this defense.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Join me, Scott Laughlin, and Gord Stellick, along with former NHLer Mike Johnson for NHL Morning Skate, weekday morning, 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
Joe Bowen back here with Jim Ralph, Cameron Moore, and Andrew Drover running the operation along with Matt Cardadero as the Maple Leafs are trailing the Detroit Red Wings 4-1. Okay, you had a cheap shot. You mentioned it, but I think you should do it again.
What's that?
James Reimer.
Oh, no, I'm not going to say it.
Oh, all right.
I'm just going to say, has he ever blown a 4-1 lead before? Not in 11 years.
No, well, yeah.
He might have.
He might. Well, we haven't been able to follow his career as closely as we.
But Ilya Samsonov, by the way, is still on goal for the Leafs.
Are you surprised?
Yeah. I'm sort of mystified, probably like a lot of people, that he got the start with 3 games left and back-to-backs to finish.
Okay. Leafs to the left and the Red Wings to the right. We are underway into the second period. The Red Wings pushing the puck up on the left wing, and it is fired by DeBrincat in over the line. Larkin gets it in a little deeper. Against the boards, good body contact there by Benoit to get the Leafs the puck. They get it out at center, but the Red Wings have it again. They're launching it in on the left wing. Benoit takes his man to the boards. The Leafs get it out. Nylander starts to center with a pass off the boards for Matthews. Matthews snaps it towards the net. Nylander around back of the goal in front. And Matthews was there, and he got a whack at it, but it may have been stopped by Reimer on the short side.
You might see a lot of different combinations the rest of the way. Bobby McMahon, lower body injury, will not return.
All right. An offside at the Detroit blue line stops play.
But Matthews has had a couple of great chances, though, putting this one in a nice setup from Willie Nylander.
He had just one shot on goal in the first period.
Although he hit the crossbar, which
was the other one, yeah. Lyubushkin shooting it in. Round on the boards to the far side. And the Red Wings will get the puck out and dump it down deep into Toronto territory. Leafs play it to the line, but don't clear. Back along the boards, it can pushed out at center ice and quickly brought in by Fabry. He'll go into the corner after it. Couldn't get it in front of the net. Morgan Riley launches it high to center and down into Detroit territory, and it's going to be an icing call.
Right now, for the Detroit Red Wings, as Washington has scored with 3:14 left to take a 4-2 lead over the Tampa Bay Lightning.
stretch, nobody wanted that last wild card spot or third in the Metro. And that has since changed. The Flyers beat the Devils 1-0. Islanders got a big point despite losing the lead late against the Rangers. They got a point in a 3-2 shootout loss.
So they have 90 points. Washington and Philadelphia now with 87. Detroit would join them with a victory tonight with 87.
Basically everything would stay the same, right?
Yeah. No. Pittsburgh are playing Boston, so
yeah, Pittsburgh's got to keep
pace. Yep. Chipped along the boards for Reeves. Grabbed off and played high off the glass then by Brody, and it's down to the Detroit blue line, but they can't get it into the zone. And now the Red Wings will punch it down into the Toronto end. Played back around the boards. Brody, long rink-wide pass, was well out of the reach of Ryan Reeves, and the Red Wings are back in their own zone. Ahead for Dylan Larkin. Larkin slides in on the right wing, trying to split the defense. He got through a couple of players. Brody lost his stick and then had to turn back without it. A centering pass and a good save made by Samsonov and a high stick, knocking the puck down, but the Leafs got it. Now a long shot, and Samsonov stopped that. Leafs break it out now with Nyes. He'll play down into the Detroit end. Hustling in there with a good hit. The puck comes around the boards. Played high by the Red Wings, and they'll get it out at center. Nylander chasing back after his man as a rolling puck is sent in towards the side of the Leaf goal. Tipped around back of the net. Grabbed off there by Benoit, and he starts back. Benoit left wing feed. Here's a chance for Robertson, and he fired it high, and it ends up caroming up into the screen and out of play.
There's some subtle things that Simon Benoit does that impresses you, and this is one of them. I mean, you think of him as the big, heavy, crushing body checks, but here he picks up a loose puck beside the Leaf net, sees he can skate the puck out of trouble. Not only does he skate it out of trouble, he's able to find Nick Robertson on the far side, the left wing, and made the tape-to-tape pass.
Leafs win the face-off. Riley with a centering pass that comes all the way back to the blue line, kept in by Marner, but then the Red Wings get it out into center ice. Lilligren dropping it back. Marner goes around back of the goal, played it back for Lilligren. He's forced wide there by David Perron. As he tried to clear, it was blocked. Sider at the point, sending it around back of the Toronto goal. Cut off by Morgan Riley. He'll help out by finding Lilligren in the far corner, who backhands it ahead, and Tavares tips the puck free and brought on by Marner. Marner in across the line. Holds up at the blue line. Flipped it into the corner. Out of the reach of Tavares. It's into a scrum now in the corner. Tavares couldn't come up with it. And Sider sends it off on the wing. And the Red Wings go back after it. Bit of interference there on John Tavares and no call, and he was hollering at the referee. Puck in the Toronto zone, batted ahead there by Marner. Good play to get it out, but it is off a stick and high into the Toronto bench and out of play.
John Tavares did the whole arms up in the air. He's going for the loose puck to battle with one Red Wing player, and the other one just steps into him.
Second period brought to you by Molson. Whether it's Canadian, Ultra, Export, or XL, there's a Molson with your name on it.
Well, Detroit Red Wings, it has been a tough stretch. Just 2 wins in their last 9 games. That coming after a 6-game winning streak.
Yeah, they looked like they were home and cooled out, didn't they?
Oh, yeah. Actually, just 5 wins in their last 20. 5-12-3.
Down into the Red Wing zone it goes. Domi slipping it back towards the corner, but it goes high and into the screen and drops down in the first row of seats for a souvenir.
What is really scary from a Leafs standpoint is how much better they have been defensively, or look defensively, on the road. Right? They don't seem to give up the odd man rushes.
And you are the guru of hockey. Why is that?
Why am I the guru of hockey? Well, this is the first time. No,
not that.
This is the first I've heard of it.
Not that. Why is the premise that you just made? Why is that happening? The guru doesn't have an answer. I don't either.
The guru picker might want to reassess.
I don't know. You're right, though. It's mind-boggling.
And if I was the guru, I would not be working with you. I would have a much better.
Yes. Here's a centering pass for Matthews. Didn't work. Now Lyubushkin to Matthews on the near half board. Sent it to the net. It hit the side of the goal, but a penalty is coming for high sticking in front of the net. And is it Bertuzzi getting the penalty?
Bertuzzi was in the scrum. Wow. Bertuzzi was in the scrum, and out of the scrum comes the high sticking penalty. Oh, he got pushed at his stick. You've got to be in control of your stick at all times. So, accidental or not, it is warranted. And the Red Wings could really take control of this game with another power play goal here.
5:13 the time of the penalty. Face off in the Toronto zone to the right of goaltender Samsonov. And the Red Wings control the face-off. Back to the point it goes. Fed over on the far side by Gostisbehere. Into the corner for Kane. Kane gave the puck away then to the Leafs and now brought out at center ice led by Marner. Trying to get into the rush with him is Camp. Marner rubbed out there on a good play defensively by David Perron. And now it is brought back by Larkin. Larkin dropping it off for Kane. Kane gets to the line. He's going to ring the puck around the boards to the far side. It squirts back to Larkin to the near side. Perron fanned on it. It goes into the corner. Brody trying to get it freed up. Can't. Now does. It comes right in front of the goal. And the Leafs after it in a pad save. The rebound in front of the net is stolen. And Marner starts away. Looking to the far side. He gives it off to McCabe. McCabe slides in. He's just going to backhand it in around the boards to allow teammates to change. And the Leafs were coming over the boards and the puck was going to the bench, and all of them decided, I'm not going to waste the time to count how many we have. Everybody get off. And so they all dove back into the bench.
And the thing is, they might have had a scoring chance if just one read it correctly.
Played back into the Toronto zone. 40 seconds left in the power play. Red Wings trying to pry it away there from Benoit, who's got it wedged up against the boards. It's played around to the far corner, and Sprong gets it back to the point. Pass into the corner, broken up there by Lyubushkin, stolen by the Leafs, but not cleared. Nylander took, if he'd have taken a little more time, he would have gotten it out, but he didn't. Puck into the slot area, and a shot is being deflected off the stick of Benoit, who gets a tap on the helmet from Nylander as it goes out of play up into the screen.
And the shots on goal, 17-7 for the Red Wings. 13:01 to go here in the second period. So the Leafs haven't been able to generate a whole lot offensively here in the second period, trying to get back into it.
So the face-off to the right. Draw one by the Red Wings over on the right wing side. 10 seconds in the power play. A shot blocked and just kept in. No, didn't. It wasn't kept in.
It was a bit of a delay, wasn't it?
Well, it was a delayed offside.
Delayed whistle.
Yes.
You said it was kept in, and then you said it was offside.
No, but I was wrong.
I'm saying it was a bit of a delay. You're usually wrong right away. There was a bit of a delay. Hey,
good point. Good point by you.
Ilya Samsonov's record in this building in 2 years, 32-7-5. And the last two starts might be the toughest he's had.
Yep. Played by Nyes down into the corner as the penalty door opens, and Bertuzzi's back into the game. And so the Leafs are 1 for 2 in the penalty kill. And the Red Wings in their own zone get it up on the right side and chip down into Toronto territory. Samsonov out of the cage to play it back into the corner where it was blocked but grabbed off. And now Matthews with a rink-wide pass finds Brody. Brody gets to the red line and shoots it in. Bertuzzi down the boards. It goes back of the net just out of the reach of Max Domi. Domi, after a loose puck, couldn't come away with it. Bertuzzi gets it to Domi, though. Domi back for Bertuzzi. It was intercepted. Red Wings into the corner after it. Matthews got it back towards the blue line. Lilligren couldn't keep it in for him. And the Leafs are going to change. Riley goes back in his own zone. 4-1 Detroit. 11:50 to go. Here's Riley working in off the wing. Drops it back for Nylander. Nylander around back of the net. Had his pocket picked. And Larkin now trying to get it out, and he has. Up on the left wing it goes. Brought in by Lucas Raymond. He drops it back for Larkin. Larkin goes around back of the net. Larkin trying to center. Goes around the boards instead to the near point. Chipped there against the wall by Nylander. And it is grabbed off. And now here's Lilligren leading the rush. On the wing it goes to Marner. Back in for Lilligren. And he just failed to redirect it there as it went wide. Tavares banging into the corner after it. Comes out of the scrum. Works it back towards the point. But McCabe couldn't keep it in. And the Red Wings trying to break here on a 2-on-1. But the diligent back checking of Holmgren broke that up. Robertson the other way. In on the left wing with a shot. He scores! Matthew-esque. Nick Robertson snaps it in over the catching glove and narrows the margin to 4-2.
Kind of a mix between Matthews and Nylander, wasn't it, with the speed? Coming out of the zone, it looked like the Leafs had numbers and Nick Robertson would have options. Instead, he took option A, coast to coast. As he comes down left wing side and at the top of the circle, just adjust the angle of the shot before he delivers it to the far side over the glove of James Reimer.
Well, the young man keeps scoring, and he's building a solid case.
That's 4 goals in his last 6.
And now Patrick Kane is going to get a penalty for high sticking as Benoit got clipped.
And it's 4. It's going to be a 4-minute double minor.
No, Kane's going to the bench.
Troy Pelly, number 88, 4 minutes for high sticking.
Well, here's an opportunity for the Leafs power play to get them back into the game. We'll step aside. The Leafs down 4-2. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
You've heard that sound before. A basketball going off the backboard and in. A bank shot. Well, that's actually the sound of a fan winning a Raptors jersey. That's the sound of a fan getting a signed Raptors basketball. And that's a fan scoring tickets to the NBA Finals. With the Tangerine Bank Shot contest, every bank shot the Raptors score this season wins a fan a prize. Enter for a chance to win at tangerine.ca/bankshot. Tangerine, that's forward banking.
Alpine News Network is here live with one of our superheroes.
I just helped Tom with a business loan. He needed to soup up his mechanic shop. Not to brag, but I once modified a car to match my ultra speed. It went so fast, it broke the speed of sound. At least no one was inside. I hope no one was inside. I guess I'll just stick to approving business loans.
Own your home? Need a loan? Alpine Credits can help.
Alpine Credits, where homeowners get approved. Just for license 12616.
Do you love deli meat but are careful about your sodium intake? Try new Schneider's Deli Meat with the delicious taste you've come to expect from Schneider's. Now with 25% less sodium than regular deli meats. They're crafted in Canada using only Schneider's premium cuts of meat, and they're an excellent source of protein. Try all 5 new deli meats, including smoked Black Forest ham and herb turkey from Schneider's. Trusted by Canadians for over 130 years. Brand power helping you buy better.
Leafs to the power play down 4-2 after Nick Robertson snapped one over the shoulder of James Reimer.
I don't think there'll be a parade for this, but with the Tampa Bay Lightning losing to the Washington Capitals this afternoon, guarantees the Leafs' 3rd spot in the division. There was still an outside chance that final game of the season in Tampa could have meant the difference between finishing 3rd or being the first wild card. But it also shows the Florida Panthers are a point ahead of the Boston Bruins.
Here the Leafs winning the faceoff at the point. A shot. Matthews had it blocked. Gets it back again. And the shot by Nylander was stopped by Reimer. Leafs keep the puck in. Near side for Matthews, who has to clear away some debris. Gets it back again into the slot. Here's a chance for Marner. Red Wing player without a stick. Marner shot right on. There's a rebound. Reimer down to cover up on it with Tavares in front of the goal.
Well, Leafs just could not take advantage of the broken stick and finally get it to the net. First couple of opportunities, Auston Matthews eventually had to clear the broken stick himself.
Shoddy workmanship by the officials not to get there to tidy up that area, don't you think?
Yep, you see eventually Matthews had to clear it, and it was Mitch Marner with the power play goal in the first period that finally got it to the net.
Leafs win the draw. Right wing shot. Good glove save made by Reimer off Nylander again.
He said Willie Nylander now at 97 points. This would be a good opportunity to get a couple of guys closer to milestones.
Robertson's goal right now unassisted. And the Leafs trying to add to the comeback here. The draw won by Detroit. Played into the corner, grabbed off by Comfer. He can't clear. Marner has stolen it back. Played along the boards for Tavares. Couldn't get it back to the blue line, and the Red Wings are breaking out now. On the left wing side, JT Comfer with a shot that was partially blocked by Morgan Riley. Tavares back in his own zone to Matthews. Matthews swinging out at center, drops it back for Nylander. Nylander drops it back in turn for Matthews. Matthews to center. Left wing feed in over the line. Got it again. Matthews swinging it around the boards, and Nylander will trap at the near point. Quickly into the slot for Riley. Now to Matthews. A shot. Scores! Auston Matthews has hit 69! It never sounded so sweet. One more to go, and the Maple Leafs are back in the game.
Mitch Marner with the setup from the middle of the ice. Matthews, because of how he entered the Red Wing zone on the left wing side, he's usually on the right in the power play. Stayed in the left wing circle. Mitch Marner drew some defenders to him in the slot and then threw it to Auston Matthews. And James Reimer, Joe, was kind of late getting over and seemed to be distracted by John Tavares in front with the screen. But still half a game to go. The Leafs within one.
And on the power play again. In across the line, Lilligren. Robertson gets it back to McCabe. He fanned on a shot. Breaks it in. Sends it back to the point. Lilligren left wing side. Bertuzzi working into the corner. Back of the net for Domi. Domi working it off the boards to find it back to the point. McCabe returns it to him. Domi taking it to the net. Chance in front of the goal. A scramble on. And the puck comes free. And the Red Wings trying to get it out, but they don't. Down low it goes to Robertson. Robertson into the far corner. Banking it back to the blue line. McCabe walks the line. Back it goes to Robertson. Into the corner. Domi looking in front. He'll go back to the point. McCabe, a shot stopped by Reimer. Along the boards, Domi with it again. He and Bertuzzi trying to free it up. Domi loses it, and it's shot down the ice. And here come the big boys again. 8.5 minutes to go in the second period. Marner in over the line. Into Matthews! Oh, what a save made by Reimer! But Matthews goes crashing into the boards. He's getting up. He's getting up.
Boy, it was a collision with Willie Nylander. Just in behind the Detroit net that had Matthews lose his balance. I don't think I've ever heard
the air go out of this building.
But then come back in with an applause when Matthews stood. But he very nearly tucks at 5-hole on James Reimer on again another perfect pass from Mitch Marner.
Face off in the Red Wing zone. 4-3 the score. Auston Matthews with 69 tallies. Draw one by Toronto. Back to the point, Riley. Riley looks for Matthews on the near side. He shoots it, and it was deflected away by Reimer. Tavares, far side, Nylander. Point now for Matthews to look back. It comes back to Riley. To Matthews, a shot. Reimer just did get over. Tavares back of the goal. Leafs looking for the tie. The puck in the corner. Pushed back in along the wall. Fired now for Nylander. To Marner. Couldn't get it back to the blue line. Red Wings Larkin will carry it out at center. Larkin taken wide. Matthews took the puck away from him and knocked it into the corner. And now we'll get it set up now with Lyubushkin with 6 seconds left to go in the penalty. Up on the right side for Marner. Marner sends it down into the corner. Matthews steals the puck again, then couldn't get it in front to Marner, and it's launched out and down the ice, and this will be icing against Detroit. Matthews from Marner and Riley on the power play. Goal number 69 on this wonderful, wonderful season by this marvelous athlete.
For Mitch Marner, 2 more points. So in the 5 games that he's been back from injury, Marner now has a goal and 6 assists for 7 points in the 5 games back. Actually, his point streak goes to before the injury occurred, but the NHL does not recognize those streaks. Well, it's really now in the last 7, 9 points.
Played out and down the ice by the Red Wings again, and another icing. And that kind of boggles my mind. I understand that it's not consecutive games, but it's consecutive games for you to be playing.
Yep. Remember Jason Williams? Every time the Leafs would call him up, he'd score. That was always the joke. He had a 50-game goal streak over 8 years.
Played off the boards out at center. Red Wings with it there. Fanning on a shoot-in was Chernik. And now it is played into the Toronto end. And played to the line by the Leafs, but not out. Bouncing puck that Nyes is able to steer and now gets it ahead. Here's Robertson in over the line. Robertson looking to the left wing side. Dropped off there for Brody. Brody will play it around back of the net for Nyes. Nyes trying to get it back to Lilligren at the point. Had the pass intercepted, and the Leafs have to go back into their own zone. And Brody, stick handling in front of his own goal, now goes behind the net and now lays it off for Lilligren, who sends it up off the wing. Too far off a deflection for Robertson. Red Wings back with 6.5 minutes to go in the second period, and it's 4-3. Red Wings with a long shoot-in down into the left wing corner. Off the boards, it hit the official. Kept alive, then Brody knocks his man down, and it is grabbed off by Lilligren. Near side for Matthews. Up ahead for Willie. Brought to center. Now, excuse me, it's Bertuzzi who gets down into the corner. Looked like he was clipped there on the way by. Red Wings back into the defensive zone, and a pass ahead at center. Brought in over the line by Fisher. Will play it down into the Toronto zone. Far side, chipped out at center ice by Bertuzzi, and the Red Wings back to recover. Edvinsson plays it in over the line. Comper drops it off to a defenseman, and a shot is wired wide of the net. Dropped by Edvinsson on the left wing boards. A centering pass is intercepted, and Domi starts away with a little bit of skating room. Chips it into the zone. It won't go for icing, and the Red Wings are back to it as they play into the corner, and now an errant pass is going to go for icing against Detroit. It'll be brought back into the Red Wing zone with 5:21 to go, and Matthews remaining on the ice. Or is he? Nope, they've made a change.
Well, the Red Wings just finished a 6-5 game, and that was a loss to the Pittsburgh Penguins. But the Red Wings were down 2 in the third period. This is amazing how in the last few years 2-3 goal leads are not walks anymore.
No, they sure aren't. Played in by Reeves around the boards. Nyes gets there first. Got it back to the point. Lyubushkin on the right side, and the shot, and I think that went off Reeves and went wide. Reeves able to keep the puck in with Lyubushkin's assistance, but it is cleared by Detroit now, and the Leafs regroup back in their own zone with Morgan Riley's pass nowhere near anybody. Larkin has it dumped in for him around back of the net. Samsonov finds Lyubushkin up ahead on the right side. Reeves got knocked down, but is able to back the puck while sitting on the seat of his pants. And the Red Wings now send it out at center ice. Cut off there, and the Leafs having to wait for teammates to get on side. Brody does, and now launches it in. Leafs will get a change going. And around back of the net, Nylander looking for Tavares. Marner's in front of the net as well. The pass into the slot area. Marner couldn't get a stick on it. And Kane starts back for Detroit, but an errant pass is batted out at center ice and then shot in on a delay. And the Leafs, if the Red Wings touch it, the Leafs are going to get it out at center. Marner playing it in over the line, but out of the reach of Nylander. 4 minutes to play, second period. It's been a big one for the Maple Leafs after a disastrous first 20. 4-3 is the score. Marner intercepts a pass, carries back to his own blue line. Lilligren trying to stretch things out. The pass up on the wing, flipped ahead, and Matthews couldn't knock it down. Matthews out there along with Marner at this point as a long shoot-in has gone wide and an icing call coming against Detroit. 3 minutes and 34 seconds to go. Auston Matthews with his 69th goal of the season for Marner and Riley. And the Leafs are down 1, and this building is just sitting on the edge of its seats, ready to explode. And I hope when he does score it, they dump the bench. Played off the boards by the Red Wings, but McCabe was able to keep the puck in. Matthews is out there. And the Red Wings get it at center, and Domi takes his man down and now has the loose puck. Matthews lost it. Shot stopped there by Samsonov. Another shot, pass in front. That is blocked by a sprawling Jake McCabe, who is hurt.
Boy, that's caught him in the face.
Yeah, and he's being led off.
God, what a season for Jake McCabe.
Yeah, we jokingly talk about Scott Sterling, the goaltender, and he's really...
Is that the nose, hopefully?
Yeah, I think it is.
I don't mean that to said more concern about the puck had come up under the visor and caught him in the eye, I think is the number one concern.
Well, a break in the action with 3:10 to go here in the second period. The Leafs trail 4-3 to the Detroit Red Wings, and you're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Merging influences from Afropop to chamber music, Vampire Weekend helped reshape the sound of indie rock and alternative. As their fifth album, Only God Was Above Us, arrives, hear the story behind it.
I just started playing this riff. This had the feel of a good, simple pop song.
Alongside nearly 2 decades of indie classics. Vampire Weekend Radio, all month in the SiriusXM app.
Hockey 24/7 on SiriusXM NHL Network Radio.
This is the NHL. These are pros. You don't want guys to put good power play units on, don't take penalties. You don't want good power play units to score goals when you've given up a whole bunch, kill them. You don't like it, do something about it. If you want to reward your guys who had a good game with a chance to get some more goals and points, do it. If I was a coach, I wouldn't care. Who cares? Worry about your own team. Don't worry about mine.
SiriusXM NHL Network Radio. SiriusXM 91. And on your schedule with the SiriusXM app. NHL Morning Skate.
Andrew Burnett, head coach of the Nashville Predators. I think Roman Josi gets underrated nowadays.
I think maybe the consistency that he does it every year, you take it for granted a little bit. I mean, he's done everything in this game. His ability to raise his game is very unique. You know, I've been around some really good, great defensemen. He's right up there with them, and he does get over them.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick. Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app.
Hi, this is Ray Hudson, and for all the biggest matches from club soccer's holy grail, the UEFA Champions League, tune in to SiriusXM FC 157.
3 minutes and 10 seconds to play in the second period. We hope we get some sort of a update on Jake McCabe, who was led off after having the puck come up and hit him in the face area. It appeared to be his nose, but that thing has taken a beating over the year, hasn't it? Yeah. My goodness. But that's the type of player he is. He went down to block that shot. Leafs win the face-off. Out comes Lyubushkin. A pass ahead, deflected by Marner into the Detroit end. Nyes now on the line with Tavares and Marner. A pass comes back to the blue line, punched back into the zone by Lyubushkin. Nyes into the corner. Now Marner down the boards, trying to pry it free. It does. It comes to Tavares. His shot deflected. The rebound hit the side of the goal, and a penalty coming here to Detroit. Centering pass scores! Tavares ties the game! John Tavares ties the game at 4s with 2:38 to play. Second period.
Tavares had the great chance that helped draw the penalty. It didn't go. The Leafs stayed with it. And eventually Mitch Marner finds Tavares again just in the left wing circle. And Tavares this time snaps it the other way, over the glove side of Reimer. He tried to go low blocker the first time. The second time, he just loads up and snaps this over the glove of Reimer, and the Leafs have come back from a 3-goal deficit. I'm not saying it.
No, I know that, but you're giggling over here.
because you looked at me.
Just because I look at you, you giggle?
Well, that's usually how it starts. And yes,
here's a shot taken by Nylander that deflected wide.
We did joke that, yes, earlier. Had James Reimer ever given up a 4-1 lead before?
Here's Nylander on the right wing side. Shot kicked away by Reimer. Cleared into the corner. 2:09 to play in the second period. It's been all Toronto. Out at center ice, Lilligren into a battle, able to free it up, and Brody gets it out at center ice. A pass in across the line. Matthews there. Matthews curls back at the blue line. Off on the left wing now. Trying to work back with it is Marner. Marner looks around back of the goal, centered in front of the net. It comes back to the point. Domi didn't shoot it. He gives it to Riley. Now to Matthews. A shot in traffic. Glove goes flying off of Bertuzzi in front of the net. Now back of the net, played along the boards by the Red Wings, and they'll get it to the line, but Domi has knocked it down there, but he's being double-teamed, trying to get to the loose puck, Bertuzzi, and does. It deflects in front of the net. Matthews almost stole it there, and it's cleared on the backhand down the ice, and icing called against Detroit with 1:15 to go. They're on the edge of their seats here, ready to explode, as the Maple Leafs have come back from a 4-1 deficit to tie the game, and Auston has won away from 70 on the season.
I know we've had these next-gen games. This feels like the 80s, doesn't it?
Does it ever? Oh, boy.
For the early 90s, Fedorov, Yzerman, Clark Gilmore.
McGillney. Face off to the right in the Detroit zone.
Matthews is out.
Draw scrummed. Marner after a loose puck, can't get to it. Nylander is also on the ice here. Nylander battles in the corner, had it dug free. It goes around back of the net, and the Red Wings have control of the puck in their own zone. Mata starts it up on the right wing side. A bank pass to the blue line, chipped back out into center ice by the Leafs, and then scrummed at the blue line, and there's a whistle.
The puck may have gone into the Wings bench.
Yeah, off a player, I think, maybe. And so with 49.8 seconds to go in the period, another break in the action. The Leafs 4 and the Red Wings 4. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Breaking story from Alpine News Network. Ron is a teacher helping bright minds, but this time he needed help. Alpine Credit sent a cosmic superhero with a debt consolidation loan. She conjured a magic book, Debt Consolidation 101. Lesson 1. Consolidate debt into one low month.
What's up, insiders? TSI Mike. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Turn on that little bell right next to it as well. And come back here every single Leafs game. If the Leafs are playing, we're live right here on Toronto Sports Insider, hanging out with the best fans in the world. Thank you guys again. Over 14,000 now. It is crazy. We had a huge night last night. That sub counter was going nuts during the Blue Jays game and the Leafs game. Thank you all. Now let's get back to it. Go Leafs, go. Let's go Blue Jays. Talk to you guys real soon.
Let's get jerseys. Let's get jerseys.
Right now, become a Tangerine client with a savings account, and you could get a free Raptors jersey.
We want jerseys.
Finally, a savings account worth cheering for.
Jerseys. Jerseys.
Find out how to score a jersey at tangerine.ca/Raptors. Tangerine. That's forward banking. Available to new clients who open and fund an eligible account while supplies last. Conditions apply.
49.8 seconds remaining in the second period. The Leafs trail 4-1 after the first. We are deadlocked at 4s as the shots on goal are now even at 19 apiece.
Important 2 periods for Ilya Samsonov, isn't it? After having a tough game against New Jersey on Thursday night. And maybe one of the stories the rest of the way, can he shut him down the rest of the way?
Played by the Red Wings past everyone down the ice, and another icing with 32.8 seconds left to go. Tavares, Nyes on the wing, as Bobby McMahon has not returned from an injury. So, you know, between that, almost Lilligren being hurt badly on a boarding penalty, and then McCabe taking one off the face, puck off the face. This has been a game where some casualties have been involved as the Red Wings get it off the boards to center and out. Long pass up on the wing. Marner chipping it in for Nyes. Nyes rolls it to the side of the goal, and Reimer will put a glove on top of that to stop play with exactly 19 seconds remaining in the second period. Final home game for the Maple Leafs, trying to win for the 23rd time on home ice.
They won't be able to match their road record.
No.
By the way, Auston Matthews jumps over the boards here off this face-off with Tavares and Mitch Marner.
Tavares to take the face-off. Matthews on the left wing, and the Red Wing player has been waved out.
I think for Sheldon Keefe, too, it'd be so great if Matthews could get number 70 tonight, so you don't have to worry about the last 2 games.
Yep, I agree. Knocked down by Tavares. A pass in front of the net didn't work. Matthews trying to steal the puck from behind, but couldn't. Red Wings get it down into the Leaf end with a shot that is off a stick and up into the screen and out of play. 6.5 seconds remaining in the period.
The out-of-town scoreboard where things are interesting. Boston and Pittsburgh are tied. They're scoreless late in the first period in Pittsburgh. Penguins have fallen out of the wild card spot, 8th and final seed in the Eastern Conference. As Philadelphia and Washington both win to jump past the Penguins.
And the Penguins have 31 regulation wins.
Yeah, that's the tiebreaker.
Yes,
yeah.
It is, and it could be very much in play as the scrum goes on in the corner to end the period. But the Leafs have rallied from a 4-1 deficit, and Big Pappy has got number 69. And the Maple Leafs are in a tie 4-4 with the Red Wings.
You mentioned the Red Wings in the mix, of course, as well in the Eastern Conference. They will finish their season with a home-and-home with the Montreal Canadiens. And I think one of the most overrated things written at this time of year, strength of schedule. It means nothing. Absolutely nothing at this time of year. Ask the Penguins what it was like against the Chicago Blackhawks in the last game of the regular season.
That's right. Well, we will step aside. Frankie Corrado joining Jim Taddy with our second period intermission in a 4-4 tie. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
The 2024 NFL Draft is fast approaching, and SiriusXM NFL Radio is getting you ready with our series of draft previews.
Marvin Harrison's third TD catch of the game.
Get expert insight and analysis from our staff of former players, coaches, and executives.
He may be the best receiver prospect I've seen for the last 5 years.
SiriusXM NFL Radio's 2024 NFL Draft Preview, Offensive Players Edition. Get it anytime on the all-new SiriusXM app.
Hockey 24/7 on SiriusXM NHL Network Radio.
This is the NHL. These are pros. You don't want guys to put good power play units on, don't take penalties. You don't want good power play units to score goals when you've given up a whole bunch, kill them. You don't like it, do something about it. If you want to reward your guys who had a good game with a chance to get some more goals and points, do it. If I was a coach, I wouldn't care. Who cares? Worry about your own team, don't worry about mine.
SiriusXM NHL Network Radio. SiriusXM 91. And on your schedule with the SiriusXM app. The Points with Boomer Gordon.
Andrew Burnett is your Jack Adams winner. 70 points in 52 games. You project that over 82, Jake. That's an 111-point pace. So they've gone head-to-head with the big boys of the West all year. Andrew Burnett inherited a new GM in Barry Trotz and a sinking payroll. And he's got this team playing as well as any team in the NHL.
Points with Boomer Gordon. 1 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app. Hockey 24/7 on SiriusXM NHL Network Radio.
This is the NHL. These are pros. You don't want guys to put good power play units on, don't take penalties. You don't want good power play units to score goals when you've given up a whole bunch, kill them. You don't like it, do something about it. If you want to reward your guys who had a good game with a chance to get some more goals and points, do it. If I was a coach, I wouldn't care. Who cares? Worry about your own team, don't worry about mine.
SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and on your schedule with the SiriusXM app. NHL Morning Skate.
Andrew Burnett, head coach of the Nashville Predators. I think Roman Josi gets underrated nowadays.
I think maybe the consistency that he does it every year, you take it for granted a little bit. I mean, he's done everything in this game. His ability to raise his game is very unique. You know, I've been around some really good, great defensemen. He's right up there with them, and he does get overlooked.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick. Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app.
Hey Toronto, I'm David Morsuti, host of the daily Toronto Maple Leafs podcast, Locked On Leafs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network on the SiriusXM app. Every weekday, we bring you the latest Leafs news and analysis, break down all the action, including this game you're listening to right now, and preview the next one. We're giving you everything a Leafs fan could want, all in a daily 30-minute podcast. Download Locked On Leafs right now on the SiriusXM app, available with all trials and popular plans, or where you get your podcasts. Search Locked On.
There is no competition in soccer quite like the UEFA Champions League. And it's on SiriusXM FC.
Kylian Mbappe delivering when it matters most.
The stakes are higher now in the knockout stage, where one goal can transform a club's trajectory.
Jude Bellingham's driving scores!
And one performance can turn a star into an immortal.
Erling Haaland has 5!
It's the Champions League knockout stage, and all the top matches are on SiriusXM FC 157 and the all-new SiriusXM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91.
Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey is on TSN 1050 and the Leafs Radio Network. The Leafs live here.
Matthews swinging it around the boards, and Nylander will trap at the near point. Quickly into the slot for Riley, now to Matthews, a shot, scores! Auston Matthews has hit 69! It never sounded so sweet! One more to go, and the Maple Leafs are back in the game!
Oh, yes, guy, he did. TSN After 40 delivered by 241 Pizza. Get a free medium one-topping pizza with a $25 minimum purchase before tax and delivery. Online orders only. Visit 241pizza.com. Use the code FREEM for that free medium. Jim Taddy, Frankie Corrado with you. Number 69 was a beaut.
Nice. That's the only thing I have to say about that goal, Jimmy.
Nice. Yeah.
It was a beautiful goal, and Mitch Marner makes the play happen on the power play in the middle of the ice. A little bit of a different look, but you see how he doesn't overhandle the puck. He just gets it on his stick, quick pass right under the triangle of the Red Wings player. And Matthews, like we talked about in the pregame, Jimmy, there's been so many different ways that he's been able to score goals this year. How about the release on that shot? It's like his body's facing one way, the stick goes the other way. It's quick on and off his stick, and James Reimer had no chance. James Reimer actually went down initially and tried to slide across. There's way too much net there for Matthews to get his 69th of the season. And then he shortly afterwards almost gets his 70th and then goes hard into the boards. Were you a little concerned when that happened?
Yeah, so this is why you don't get carried away with what's happening on the scoreboard at this time of the year. McCabe, puck in the face. Auston Matthews goes into the boards head first, and in the first period, Lilligren gets drilled into the boards.
And Bobby McMahon not out there. So Bobby McMahon did not play in that second period, so that's something that we're keeping an eye on as well. So Sheldon Keefe has had to juggle his lines a little bit, so we've seen some different looks. But there's one little storyline that's emerging, Jimmy. Nick Robertson continues to score, and there's a great example, and that's the goal that precedes the Auston Matthews one and gets the Leafs going here offensively.
They had nothing going until then, and that shot that's in on 99% of the NHL goalies.
Maybe Joe Bowen is the only goalie that puck is not going in on, but it's going in on any NHL goalie. And listen, you have to give a lot of credit to Pontus Holmberg, because Lucas Raymond has an opportunity where he's skating with a 2-on-1 situation. Yeah. Holmberg backtracks him, doesn't take a penalty. Raymond goes down, and then it's Robertson who picks up the puck in his own zone, and the Red Wings go for a change. Like, they go for a change because they're late in a shift. It opens up all kinds of ice right through the middle of the ice for Robertson. The Red Wings defense has no chance in that situation, and Robertson actually changes the angle with his stick. He beats James Reimer, but that's one of the things that's intriguing about Robertson going into the playoffs. Because of that shot, if you need a goal, that's a guy who can get one for you just like that. Quick shot, quick release, he gets you a goal. See what that does to your team. And then right after that, it was all Leafs, and they draw a power play, and Patrick Kane goes to the box for 4 minutes. They take a high-sticking penalty, and it was like the Red Wings were reeling, and the Leafs were playing really well, and they had all the pressure.
So let me ask you this. Can you think of a year when the Leafs went into the playoffs where you had the starting lineup, and you realized if that didn't work, you had 2 or 3 options up front, 2 or 3 options on the blue line, and 2 or 3 options in goal as alternative looks?
No, and you never had those kinds of viable options. You had trying to make shift and patch up a roster and say, and convince yourself, like how many times did you and I kind of convince ourselves and say, this is a good look. They got a lot of different pieces here that could work, but when one of those pieces didn't work, everything fell apart. Now if something might not work, you have different players you can go to. Like, if on the fourth line you feel like you want Durin, he can play, and he can play on the penalty kill. Matthew Nyes has been good tonight. Like, it's been another game where outside of the penalty that he takes in the first period in the offensive zone, moving his feet, using his body, and especially in the absence of Bobby McMahon, they need a player like that. And, there's more players that can do more, I guess, when they don't have the puck or are not in prominent positions that really help this team right now.
And I would apply that to the Fab Four up front. It seemed to me in the past that they had to play in certain situations, like they had to have certain people on their lines, otherwise it wasn't going to work. Now you can mix and match. He had Matthews, Nylander, and Marner out there for a shift.
He did, and he wants to get a look at that. And of course, with McMahon being out, like you'll have more of an opportunity to see how that looks. He also had Nyes with Tavares and Marner as well. So there's been a number of different things that Sheldon Keefe has tried in this game, and in that second period, how's Ilya Samsonov feeling now? Like, it wasn't a good first period for him, but your team battles back, works its way back into the game, and for Samsonov, it looked like it was a more pedestrian period for him, where he just had to make the saves where he could see the puck, and it wasn't overly difficult. And most of the time, that's all you're asking from him. Make the saves you're supposed to make, and the team will do the rest in front of you.
That's part of problem solving. If this is the problem, well, guess what? Take it out of the equation and have everybody else push back.
But you have to take care of your own end as well, and that's what Samsonov did in that second period. The Red Wings didn't have anything going, and as the Leafs got their feet moving and they got on the board, they took over that period. Now you go into the third period where you now have more shots than the Red Wings, where it was a big discrepancy in the first period. It's a tie game. Now you finish the job, and it would be great if Auston Matthews could get his 70th to get the game-winning goal at some point here in the last 20, because when he scored his 69th of the season, this building erupted, and it was a great atmosphere to be a part of.
So I asked you, what does it feel like on the bench or on the ice when the crowd goes like that?
It's such a great move by the game ops people when someone scores a big goal like that to keep their ISO cam on the Jumbotron, because everyone will notice that, and everyone gives a little more energy, a little more applause, and the player and all the players on the bench will get, you get those chills. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you're still a human and you're playing the sport that you love. Those are the moments that you live for, and that was a really cool moment here at Scotiabank Arena.
I'd have to believe it just fortifies what you're already feeling.
That's exactly it. And you know what? Every once in a while, it's nice to take note of that and recognize the situation and kind of get lost in the moment. Now the Leafs are back at it with 20 minutes left to play to try and win a game.
It's tied at 4 after 40 minutes of play. This is Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050, the iHeartRadio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
From the biggest stadiums to the coziest holes in the wall. From house parties to porch hangs to pride celebrations. From your favorite fuzz shop to your local Indian spot. From noodle bars to sports bars to salsa bars. There's a Molson with your name on it. Canadian Ultra XL. Molson. Everyone in. Must be legal drinking age.
Breaking story from Alpine News Network. Sandra and Kabir are celebrating 50 years of marriage by turning their boring bedroom into a spicy one. Oh my. Alpine Credits sent a super strength hero to help with a home renovation loan. New floors, windows, a heart-shaped button that plays this tune. Okay, I think that's quite enough. Own your home? Need a loan? Alpine Credits can help.
Alpine Credits, where homeowners get approved. Fiscal license 12616.
Hello, people of the GTA. Patio season is around the corner. But why wait for packed parks and King Street when you can head to Canada's favorite paradise, Cuba, for less? Book early with Sunwing and kick back in Holguin or Cayo Santa Maria, where the mojitos are always fresh. When you save more, you can do more. Book with your local travel agent or at
Commander?
Yes, Captain.
How did their spaceship escape?
They have fiber, Captain. It's faster than cable.
Faster, huh?
Indeed, Captain. Plus, they have the fastest Wi-Fi in the galaxy.
What else have they got?
Well, it's also the most reliable technology, Captain.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy, indeed.
Get Bell Pure Fiber, Canada's fastest internet and Wi-Fi, starting from $60 a month. Visit bell.ca/purefiber internet for more details and to check availability. Bell. Internet just got better.
For 35 years, Kids Help Phone has provided free, confidential support to millions of young people across Canada. On Sunday, May 5th, we invite you to raise funds for youth mental health by taking part in BMO Walk So Kids Can Talk. This is your chance to help every young person in Canada feel out loud. Register, fundraise, donate, or walk. Join the movement at walksokidscantalk.ca.
We all have the power to shape the world. We're connected to the world we share, to each other. I am future. I wait in the world of Echo.
Discover the extraordinary with Echo, the spectacular new show by Cirque du Soleil. Opens May 8th under the Big Top at Toronto Lakeshore Boulevard West. Tickets at CirqueDuSoleil.com.
The world is yours to create.
Echo thanks its presenting partner Sun Life and its official partners Air Canada and MasterCard.
The out-of-town scoreboard is brought to you by Maple Toyota. Build your next dream Toyota at Maple Toyota. And check out Maple Toyota's pre-owned inventory arriving daily. It's time to Toyota. Visit mapletoyota.com. End of the second period, Montreal 3-2 over the Ottawa Senators. End of the first, Predators 3-1 over Columbus. Also after 20 minutes of play, Penguins and Bruins are scoreless. Rangers got by the Islanders earlier today, 3-2 in a shootout. Stars defeated the Seattle Kraken 3-1. Jets pounded Colorado 7-0. Panthers got by the Buffalo Sabres 3-2 in overtime. Philadelphia shut out the Devils 1-0. Capitals got by the Lightning 4-2. At 10 tonight, Canucks in Edmonton. At 10:30 tonight, Ducks in LA against the Kings. And also at 10:30 tonight, the Wild in San Jose against the Sharks. In our game, it's tied at 4. Detroit and Toronto after 40 minutes of play. This is Wolseley Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050, the iHeartRadio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
The greatest guitarist is Eddie Van Halen.
What about Prince?
You have to include Slash and Jimmy Page.
B.B. King and Bonnie Raitt.
The Edge changed everything.
The debate continues with rebellious riffs and 6-string solos on the SiriusXM Guitar Greats channel. All hail International Guitar Month. SiriusXM Guitar Greats on Channel 107 and year-round on the SiriusXM app. Get closer to everything that moves you, wherever you are.
The Point with Boomer Gordon.
Andrew Burnett is your Jack Adams winner. 70 points in 52 games. You project that over 82, Jake. That's an 111-point pace. So they've gone head-to-head with the big boys of the West all year. Andrew Burnett inherited a new GM in Barry Trotz and a sinking payroll. And he's got this team playing as well as any team in the NHL.
Point with Boomer Gordon. 1 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app.
There is no competition in soccer quite like the UEFA Champions League. And it's on SiriusXM FC.
Kylian Mbappe delivering when it matters most.
The stakes are higher now in the knockout stage, where one goal can transform a club's trajectory.
Jude Bellingham's driving scores!
And one performance can turn a star into an immortal.
Erling Haaland has 5!
It's the Champions League knockout stage, and all the top matches are on SiriusXM FC 157 and the all-new SiriusXM app.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
Toronto, they don't have a face card. Like, they don't have an ace. Morgan's a jack. They have so many non-face cards that these guys are going to have to bullpen by committee. Because the real truth is this, they got a good forward group. But if you don't defend against Boston and Florida, you're not seeing Boston or Florida in round 2. That's the exam, and the test will be on this defense.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app. The best hockey lives here.
Burns gets it back, stick handles to the backhand, moves in front, score!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM.
We are back for the third period. The Maple Leafs and the Detroit Red Wings are tied 4-4. And Auston Matthews is sitting on number 70 as he has scored his 69th goal of the season.
I'm getting a look at our screen of our friends down the
Kenny Daniels,
down the hallway. Kenny Daniels and Mickey
Redmond, longtime voices of the Detroit Red Wings, who are hoping to get into the postseason, as you mentioned,
for the first time in 8 years.
8 years, yep. Leafs to the right and the Red Wings to the left.
By the way, Ken Daniels showed us down in the media room, found a clip of Mickey Redmond in his second year doing color. That was with Dick Irvin at the Forum in Montreal.
Puck is dropped, and we're underway. Chip to the Leaf blue line, brought on by Larkin. Drops it off, and a shot goes wide of the Leaf goal. The rebound, Karams to the blue line. Knocked high into the far corner. Lyubushkin in pursuit with Wallman getting it up against the boards, but the Leafs come away with it. And now just chipped in over the line for Tavares, too far. Larkin turns back up ice for Detroit. So far, the bathtub has flowed fairly substantially from left to right, as 7 of the 8 goals have gone into the net down to our right, where Ilya Samsonov is hoping to change that trend. Cleared by Matthews into the zone. Out of the net, Reimer to play it along the boards for Kane. Stolen. Domi in front of the net, and Bertuzzi couldn't get to it. Matthews has dragged it into the far corner. Gives it off to Domi. Domi still with it as he centers now, and Matthews a backhand. And it is stuffed into the equipment of Reimer and held.
I'm not sure who wants this more, Auston Matthews or Max Domi. Because Max Domi has been absolutely brilliant alongside Auston Matthews. And again, battles for the puck in the corner, looks up, sees Matthews, and Matthews just for a split second is open in the circle to the left of Reimer, and Domi finds him.
Played around the boards, it will come to center and down into the Leaf end. Icing waved off by the linesmen, who are Trent Narger and Ryan Daisy. Tonight, Pierre Lambert and Francois Saint-Laurent are the referees. Red Wings back in their own zone. Play up on the right wing side. Sider gets it into neutral ice. Puck stolen by Toronto. Played back for Nylander. He'll just get it into Red Wing territory. Sherratt goes around back of the net. Plays it up on the near boards. Deflected out at center ice by Robbie Fabry. And it is Lyubushkin for Toronto, back in his own end for Benoit. Benoit carries out at center. He'll fire it off the glass and around the boards. It comes to the left wing side. Robertson in pursuit. Robertson's goal triggered the comeback in the second period, and a pass in front of the net. Nylander kind of went off the heel of his stick and went harmlessly wide, and now an icing coming here against Detroit to bring the puck back into the Red Wing zone. And I don't believe Jake McCabe has returned, so he and Bobby McMahon have been casualties in this game.
Joel Edmondson out again after blocking another shot against New Jersey on Thursday. It's been called precautionary.
There's Riley at the point, plays it around to the side of the goal. Matthews back on the ice, and it's deflecting into the crowd, out of play.
It's amazing last year when Matthews hit 60, or 2 years ago. You know, the feeling in this building, it was obviously you've got the most exciting time of the year around the corner, and yet this is like bonus time, bonus coverage.
Absolutely. Now the Leafs steal the puck, a pass to the near side for Bertuzzi. Sends it in front of the net. Matthews! Oh, he was all alone. And I mean all alone. And the pass went off the heel of his stick and harmlessly wide. If he corrals that, he could have spent about 30 seconds there deciding what to do. Now Bertuzzi gets it back in over the line. Centering effort. Knocked away. Kane trying to play it out. And the Red Wings, who dodge an enormous bullet there, send it down into the Toronto end. I think he mishandled the puck because he had so much time. Robertson in on the right side, got in with a shot, and that was deflected wide by the blocker of Reimer. Red Wings get it up on the wing and play it out, and Larkin with speed to the line, but had it knocked away, then stole it back again. Centering pass, great play made by Lyubushkin to block that centering feed. Leafs get it back out at center. Red Wings back in over the line, taken down DeBrincat, but no penalty. Played around into the near corner. David Camp got it ahead. Nyes didn't get it out, though. Camp gets another opportunity to get it around on the boards, and Brody will punch it high off the boards and clear down into Detroit territory. Leafs are changing again. Tavares line over the boards. Nyes and Marner joining him. A lead pass broken up, intended for Fisher. Fisher gets down into the corner and got it around back of the net, but couldn't center. And now Lilligren overskates it, but gets it ahead, and Tavares backhands to center. Marner had it bounce away from him as it almost got behind the Detroit defense. Petrie off a stick into Toronto territory, and another icing is going to bring it back into the Detroit zone.
Red Wings have got a tough fight here in the third period as well. Now, they did come back on the Leafs their last time in. Trailed Toronto, came back with a couple of goals in the third period and took the win, although it's hard to believe that since the 2016-17 season, the Leafs are 19-4-2 against Detroit.
They've had a big hand in those 7 straight misses of the playoffs, haven't they? Icing again against Detroit. Nylander, along with Robertson and Pontus Holmgren, and Nylander is going to take the face-off, and he wants it in the circle to the left of Reimer. The draw is won by Detroit. Pontus Holmberg goes into the corner and came out with the puck, but couldn't get around the defense of Perron. And now the Red Wings trying to get it out and it'll be shot by Robbie Fabry down into the Toronto end. Leafs go back for it. Morgan Riley starts out. A pass up on the left wing for Holmberg. Nice move to gain center ice and in. Into the slot with a shot. Pad save made nicely there by Reimer. Back of the net for Willie. Nylander with a shot from a sharp angle. And that's going to carry him off a stick and go up into the screen and out of play. Changes coming for both teams, and is the big fella coming back on the ice? He indeed is.
This feels like when Hank Aaron came to the plate.
You're right.
You know, you wanted 4 or 5 at-bats chasing Babe Ruth's
sitting
record.
On 714. Well, he's sitting on 69 here, looking for 70. Shot in front of the goal. Domi couldn't redirect. And the Red Wings get it out at center in a race for the puck here with Lucas Raymond beaten to it by Benoit, who rings the boards with it to get it down into the Red Wing zone. Domi hoping to hunt down Ben Sherratt, but can't come up with the loose puck, but then Bertuzzi does. In front of the net for Domi. Back to the point, it comes into the corner. Domi went with it, tried to find Matthews. Matthews chipping it back along. Domi gets it back to the blue line. Benoit walks the line, backhanded front. Matthews spinning, and it rolled off the toe of his stick. Pass into the neutral zone and backhanded into the Toronto end. Morgan Riley for Benoit. Ahead, too far for Marner. Tavares out there now along with Marner and Nylander. Tavares back in his own zone. Bank pass, Marner couldn't handle it. Red Wings with it back in their own territory. Got it ahead for Kane. Patrick Kane trying to get around the defense but failing. Leafs trying to come out with it. Lyubushkin makes a good play to recover the puck, and Tavares gets an outlet pass through center. Works in over the line. One hands to Marner. He'll backhand it in around back of the net. No one there. And the Red Wings have the puck now, and they bring it out at center ice and now launch it off a body into the Toronto zone. Looking for Marner, a pass off the boards. He doesn't get it into the zone. Brought back the other way by Gostisbehere and down into Toronto territory. Riley ties up his man back of the net. Puck goes free. Grabbed off by Sprong. Back to the point, the Red Wings with a shot coming, and that's just wide. Marner has flipped it high and got it out into the center ice area. Change is coming again. Played in over the line. Bank pass at center. Reeves to the left wing side for David Camp. Nyes out there as well. Reeves gets a hit in, and Nyes steals the puck. Nyes into the slot area with a shot. Oh, and a good glove save made by Reimer. Good decision by Nyes to shoot the puck. Reimer's left hand snapping it out of the air to hold. 12:56 to go is history just a shot away. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
This is PGA Tour Pro Smiley Kaufman, and I'm happy to announce that you can now hear me on Sports Grid Radio. Just in time for the Masters, I'm bringing my show, The Smiley Show, to Channel 159, where I'll catch up with other golfers, athletes, and celebrities.
John Rahm becomes the 4th Spaniard to win at Augusta.
Join me every Tuesday and Thursday at 7 a.m. and 1 p.m. in the East on Sports Grid Radio. Channel 159 in your car and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
The Point with Boomer Gordon.
Andrew Burnett is your Jack Adams winner. 70 points in 52 games. You project that over 82, Jake. That's an 111-point pace. So they've gone head-to-head with the big boys of the West all year. Andrew Burnett inherited a new GM in Barry Trotz and a sinking payroll. And he's got this team playing as well as any team in the NHL.
Point with Boomer Gordon. 1 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app.
There is no competition in soccer quite like the UEFA Champions League. And it's on SiriusXM FC.
Kylian Mbappe delivering
right when it matters most.
The stakes are higher now in the knockout stage, where one goal can transform a club's trajectory.
Jude Bellingham's driving, scores!
And one performance can turn a star into an immortal.
Erling Haaland has 5!
It's the Champions League knockout stage, and all the top matches are on SiriusXM FC 157 and the all-new SiriusXM app.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen, walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, score!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM.
Face-off coming in the Detroit zone. 12:56 to play. Tavares, Marner and Nylander, Morgan Riley and Lilligren on the points. And the draw in the circle to the right of James Reimer. Leafs in Florida Tuesday night and will finish the season Wednesday evening in Tampa Bay. We'll have that action here on TSN 1050 on Tuesday as the Red Wings get in on the right side, and a shot is swallowed up by Samsonov.
Clearly a Samsonov, since giving up 4 goals on 13 shots in the first period. That is just the 8th shot he has faced in the last 27 minutes and 14 seconds. So the Leafs have done a pretty good job of pushing the pace the other way. But do you not feel that Samsonov needs a...
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
A shutout third period, get out of here with a win?
Played out at center ice by the Leafs. The Red Wings knife it back, but it's carried in now by Tavares on the left wing. He bulls his way into the corner, into the slot. Nylander got a good shot away, but it was right eye high and right at the helmet of Reimer, who was able to catch the puck and stop play with a face-off coming in his zone to the right.
You said Nylander's up to 97 points. Remember, Mitch Marner went into the final game of the regular season last year at Madison Square Garden with 99 points. Couldn't get the last one.
Matthews is on. Bertuzzi and Domi flanking him. And the draw won by Toronto. Benoit works to the middle of the ice. The pass in, and a shot by Domi was deflected wide. Here's a centering feed, and it was knocked away as Benoit tried to get it in front. Sherratt carries back to the Leaf blue line. Chopped high in the air, grabbed off now by Comfer, and he'll shoot it back into the Toronto zone. Benoit back of the net. Brody bowled over from behind. Matthews there sifting around, hoping for a loose puck to develop. And when it does, he gets it back into the corner for Domi. Now back of the net. It goes a centering feed, comes back to the point. Kane was filling in there. Patrick Kane, the veteran, into the slot with a shot in traffic. And that got through and was covered up. And then we get Brody in a shoving match, and Bertuzzi's in there as well. As things heighten up a little bit. And a face-off coming in the Toronto zone. 11:49 to play in the third period.
And we might as well get used to these scrums after a whistle.
Yeah.
It is, in fact, going to be the Florida Panthers. Just
Brody and Perron getting into the push and shove.
Well, the Flyers lose 9-3 in Montreal, then beat the Rangers and shut out the Devils. Yeah, that's the trajectory you're going on.
Well, that's how it was mapped out, right?
Yes.
Face off to the right in the Toronto end.
Penguins and Bruins still scoreless midway through the second.
Draw is scrummed and cleared to the near boards. Leafs with possession and played off the boards by Nyes into neutral ice. Red Wings bring it back with Olli Maatta, playing it into the near corner in the Toronto zone. Riley chopped at it, but the Red Wings come away with it. A shot and a goal, and the rebound shoveled wide of the net there by Fisher. Back into the corner for David Kampf. He'll play it around into an empty corner, but in a race for it that Riley won, but paid the price with a pretty good hit there off the play of Robbie Fabry. Al Riley just plays the puck into the center ice area. Maatta dropping it back for Gostisbehere. Former Flyer turning back up ice now for Detroit. 11:05 left to play. Pass intercepted. Off the boards near side for Nyes. Nyes launching it in, but Pontus Holmberg couldn't reach it. The puck comes back out into center ice. Nyes trying to get to the bench, and the Leafs finally have it on the near wing for Brody. Long rink-wide pass. Nylander in across the pass into the slot area, knocked down. Robertson couldn't get a shot away. Red Wings start back with it. Played out at center ice. Good hit there by Lilligren. Stood up Aston Reese, and allows the Leafs to go back to a loose puck. Quickly brought the other way by Pontus Holmberg. Up on the wing for Robertson. Robertson drops it back, and now here's Nylander sliding in on the left wing. Willie pulls up, still with it, looks for a shot, and caromed off a skate and went harmlessly wide. Holmberg trying to center, but was tackled in there by Seider, and out come the Red Wings to play it into the Leaf end. Leafs 4, the Red Wings 4. Lead pass for Bertuzzi, and the big boy is on the ice again, but this time an icing call against Toronto will bring the face-off back into the Leaf end.
It's kind of a touchy situation where, even though with the Tampa Bay Lightning losing today, so the Leafs have guaranteed themselves third spot, so they're not really playing for anything for themselves. And yet, you still want to get ready for the playoffs. You still want to be responsible. At the same time, you want to get Matthew's 70th goal and hopefully Nylander's 100th point. And everybody will tell you till they're blue in the face that personal milestones don't matter. It's all about the prize at the end.
Draw on the right wing side. Sherratt with a shot, and that was knocked away nicely there by Samsonov. But you know what? It's and Matthew's 70 goals is a team event as much as it is a personal.
Yeah, like I said, they will tell you.
Yes.
That it doesn't matter.
Yep.
However,
played down into the Red Wing zone. They bring it outsider. Got it to the line. Chipped ahead. And Bertuzzi knocks his man down. Red Wings back in over the line. Trying to drive the net was Larkin. It's centering pass. Brilliant save made by Samsonov. Here's Matthews through center. He'll dump it into the corner. Domi after it in the far boards. Matthews trying to come away with it, kicked it back to Domi. Domi unable to play it in front. Sammy echoing through the building. Loose puck back to the point. Pass to the left wing side. Brody shooting it, and it went off the stick of Raymond up into the screen.
We may get to the point where any Leaf other than Matthews shoots the puck, they're going to get booed.
Well, it is a 4-4 tie. 9:01 to play, third period. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
From the biggest stadiums to the coziest holes in the wall. From house parties to porch hangs to pride celebrations. From your favorite fuzz shop to your local Indian spot. From noodle bars to sports bars to salsa bars. There's a Molson with your name on it. Canadian Ultra XL. Molson. Everyone in. Must be legal drinking age.
Alpine News Network is here live with one of our superheroes.
I just helped Tom with a business loan. He needed to soup up his mechanic shop. Not to brag, but I once modified a car to match my ultra speed. It went so fast, it broke the speed of sound. At least no one was inside. I hope no one was inside. I guess I'll just stick to approving business loans.
Own your home? Need a loan? Alpine Credits can help.
Alpine Credits, where homeowners get approved. Just for license 12616.
The Stanley Cup Playoffs Bracket Challenge presented by Betway.net is back. And now it's time to take your shot.
Scores!
Face off against family and friends. And take aim at predicting this year's playoffs. Whether you're pulling for the Panthers, going big on the Blue Shirts, or seeing stars all the way, who do you think hoists the cup this year? Sign up today for a chance to win exclusive prizes at NHL.com/bracket.
9:01 left to play here in the third period. The Leafs tied 4-4 after a big second period that saw them score 3 times to erase a 4-1 deficit.
What about the save, though, by Ilya Samsonov off Lucas Raymond? Great play. Dylan Larkin got knocked down as he was trying to go in behind the Leafs net. And even though he was on the ice and prone, he was able to sweep the puck out front Raymond had the point-blank chance, and Samsonov stuffed him out.
They've taken the assist away from Matthew Nyes on the tying goal. Matthews is out there again. Domi's pass for him was out of his reach, cleared back down into the Toronto zone. Lilligren goes back. Up on the wing for Morgan Rielly. Rink-wide pass, got to Domi. He'll shoot it in. Reimer out of the cage. Plays back into the corner. Petrie will get it out at center ice. Lilligren turning back at his own blue line. Got away from Kane. Skates to center. Lilligren in over the line. Got a shot away. It was just wide. Here's Bertuzzi centering in front of the net. Matthews was cruising down there, but the shot was too high for Matthews to get a stick on it, and Reimer caught it to stop play.
The thing is with Matthews, I know the focus is on him getting a second of the night, but it is now a stretch of 14 goals in the last 13 games. So you remember back 13 games ago, it didn't look very likely that Matthews would be sitting in this position.
But like every good goal scorer, a streak shooter. On the right wing side, a shot into traffic in front of the net, and Reimer is going to cover up with Nylander on the doorstep. Same with Pontus Holmberg.
Yeah, the Wings looking to stay alive in their fight for the postseason. And you try not to get sucked into the out-of-town scoreboard. A lot of times when teams are battling and they're playing at home, they will not show out-of-town scores up on the scoreboard. They don't want the players to get distracted, the results from out-of-town that they can't control.
Draw to the left of Reimer. And the draw won by the Maple Leafs. A shot! Robertson let it go, and Reimer got in position to block that. Now here's Pontus Holmberg. Back of the net for Nylander. Nylander slides into the corner after it. Came away with it. It comes back to the point. Bank back for Willie. Nylander with it again. Works back to the blue line. Sent it to the side of the net. Robertson curls in the far corner. Put the brakes on. Got away from one check. Still with it. Trying to center and went off a skate. And it'll be brought to center ice and shot down the ice by a very...
Well, Ilya Lyubushkin very subtly changed his route back into his own end. And I think the linesman called him on it.
Played off a stick. This could be a high stick if it is touched by anybody. And then the Red Wings decide to play it. And it'll be played out at center ice. Lots of things going through people's minds there as on high stick might have been called. One was the Detroit Red Wings are saying, well, we can't waste time here. Time is a little more of a factor as far as the Red Wings are concerned. Into the corner, coming out with this DeBrincat trying to get in front. And the shot goes off a stick and up into the screen, out of play. DeBrincat with a couple of goals for the Red Wings. And the faceoff coming in the Toronto zone. The much-traveled Mr. DeBrincat.
Seems to have found a nice spot here in Detroit. Well, I mean, great numbers in Chicago throughout his career. Last year in Ottawa, didn't work out as well as he or the Ottawa Senators would have liked.
Face off to the right of Samsonov. Matthews line on the ice.
DeBrincat hadn't scored in 7 coming into this game. He's got a pair.
Draw one and a shot and a good pad save made by Samsonov. On the wing, it's played ahead off a stick and brought out at center ice, and now Morgan Rielly going to punch it down into the Red Wing zone. Domi let it go to Bertuzzi, and as he tried to center, it went off a stick and Karam's up into the screen, out of play.
Boy, and Bertuzzi, I don't know if he was trying to get it back into the slot, but Auston Matthews was coming late. As we get a change on the blue line, but Matthews will stay out with Domi and Bertuzzi.
Lilligren and Rielly now for Toronto. And the draw scrummed and poked back to Lilligren. Lilligren walks the line, swept it around back of the net. Lilligren walks the line, swept it around back of the net. Matthews strapping it in! tried to stuff it in from behind, and that was just stopped by James Reimer. Boy, that move from behind the net was lightning quick.
And Reimer just turned back to catch him doing it. He started the other way.
Matthews to center. Taken in and just flips it into the left wing corner and goes in there after it. Trying to pry it away from Sherratt. Now Bertuzzi getting it freed up. Marner trying to help out, but it's pushed high into Toronto territory. Quickly played ahead for Marner. Thought about banking it in, and Matthews has curled back to the bench. 5:50 to play in regulation in a 4-4 tie. Here's Comfort getting in on the left wing for Kane. Had it taken away, and Tavares starts back. He protects the puck nicely to get it to center and shoots it in. Nyes on the left wing boards trying to knock it back in. Now here's a centering pass by Tavares, but it was out of the reach of Marner and played by the Red Wings to Toronto's blue line. Lilligren off the boards. Tavares with Marner trying to get it into him. Now onto the right wing side. Lilligren thinks better of pressuring, and the Red Wings have it back in their own end. Jeff Petrie up the right wing boards, sends it down into the Toronto zone. Out of the net, Samsonov into the corner, and Lilligren played off of Reeves' stick and into Detroit territory, and icing is going to be called here against Toronto with 5:01 to play in the third period. The Leafs 4 and the Red Wings 4. And don't you think some other teams are watching this game a little bit?
Yeah, and it's not for Matthews' goal.
No, it's not. Although a lot of them are cheering for it.
Yes, absolutely.
And Reimer just did get over there.
Yeah, he was looking to his left.
Yep.
And
Nyes against the boards off a face-off win, but the Red Wings, Larkin sends to the far corner. A hit in there on the far side, but it is grabbed off by Larkin. Tried to center, intercepted, and Reeves starts away at center. Reeves dropping it off for David Camp. Back for Reeves on the right wing. He stops it up. Now sends it back to the net for Camp. Camp trying to come out with it on his backhand. Left for Morgan Riley. He ran into traffic, and Larkin just getting clear of it to get it out. Lyubushkin starts back. Takes his time. Nylander works it through center. Starts back. Takes his time. Nylander works it through center. Willie's to the line and in. Holds, got the shot away, but it deflected harmlessly wide. Rebound to the near side. Now Nylander trying to keep it in, but the Red Wings have forced it down into the Toronto end. Hustling after it is Morgan Riley and being chased by Fabry, and the Leaf gets it out at center ice. Changes on the defense. Shot in wide of the Leaf goal. Icing going to be called here against Detroit. 3:53 to go. Here comes the big fella, along with Domi and Bertuzzi.
Boy, there's just a buzz, isn't there?
Listen to the crowd. They are just willing this to happen.
Get up, folks.
Face off to the right of the Detroit goal. Matthews to take the draw. And it is scrummed in the circle. Puck pushed up on the wall. Bertuzzi got it freed up, but the Red Wings are the ones who bring it out at center ice. And Joe Veleno will send it down into the Toronto end. He goes back there with Benoit. The Leafs get it freed up. Matthews trying to skate out, and a penalty coming to Detroit. Here's a chance for Domi. He's in over the line, looking in front of the net, and the pass was just out of the reach of Matthews. Nylander circling back in his own end. Matthews is going to stay. Out come the Leafs now with a drop pass for Marner. Marner working through center. To the left wing side to Matthews, dropping it back for Willie. Nylander hits the line and in on the left wing for Tavares, shooting, and it was deflected wide. Played out at center ice off the stick of Matthews. Matthews to Marner. Marner dropping back into his own zone. Empty net to our right. Penalty to come. Here's Marner through center. Hits the line. Off the wing, and it's called offside. I don't know if that was offside either. But here's the penalty, and the Leafs will get the break with the timeout to allow the number one unit to organize and get back onto the ice. Is history about to be made? 2:45 left. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Feel the energy. Blast the wild bag. And the impact of SiriusXM Octane.
Immerse yourself in a community of hard rock extremists.
World premieres,
live performances,
and artist takeovers.
A giant thank you to the entire Octane community for keeping rock alive.
Turn up new hard rock.
Turn up Octane.
Channel 37 and on the SiriusXM app.
Hockey 24/7 on SiriusXM NHL Network Radio.
This is the NHL. These are pros. You don't want guys to put good power play units on, don't take penalties. You don't want good power play units to score goals when you've given up a whole bunch, kill them. You don't like it, do something about it. If you want to reward your guys who had a good game with a chance to get some more goals and points, do it. If I was a coach, I wouldn't care. Who cares? Worry about your own team. Don't worry about mine.
SiriusXM NHL Network Radio. SiriusXM 91. And on your schedule with the SiriusXM app. NHL Morning Skate.
Andrew Burnett, head coach of the Nashville Predators. I think Roman Josi gets underrated nowadays.
I think maybe the consistency that he does it every year, you take it for granted a little bit. I mean, he's done everything in this game. His ability to raise his game is very unique. You know, I've been around some really good, great defensemen. He's right up there with them, and he does get over them.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick. Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app.
Hi, this is Ray Hudson, and for all the biggest matches from club soccer's holy grail, the UEFA Champions League, tune in to SiriusXM FC 157.
Face off in the Detroit zone. The Leaf power play is 2 for 3 on the night.
Which is a relief when you consider they had 2 goals in their previous 10.
Draw one against the boards. Nylander got it back to the point. Riley back to Willie. Return to Riley. Back to the far side to Matthews. Now to Riley. Tavares couldn't get it in front. Matthews against the boards trying to come away with the puck, and he does. Guts it back to the blue line. Riley walks the line to Matthews on the right wing side. He makes a pass instead of a shot. And the Red Wings intercept, and they're clearing it down, and Larkin trying to drive in front of the goal, knocked away to the side of the net. Riley starting back, 2:08 left to play, dropping for Matthews. Matthews to center. In across the line for Tavares. Into the slot for Marner. Marner holds. Marner working out into the slot area looking for Matthews. Plays it in front of the goal. A deflection right on by Tavares is swallowed up there by James Reimer.
1:06 to go in the power play, and I don't think Sheldon Keefe is even considering a change in the power play unit.
Not if he wants to get out of the building without being lynched.
The other thing is, even if somebody else scores to give the Leafs a lead, Sheldon Keefe has decided he's going to call a timeout here. 1:51 to go in the third period, 1:06 to go in the power play of a 4-4 game. But should somebody score in a power play, still got the empty net possibility coming after. So I don't know if on the power play, it's got to be Auston Matthews.
All right.
However, all things being equal,
I think he would rather have it beating a goaltender rather than an empty net, but face-off will be in the circle to the right of James Reimer. Number 1 unit still out there. Marner, Nylander, Matthews, Tavares, Riley. Minute 6 in the power play, minute 51 in the third period. And Tavares, boy, he's been waved out a lot here tonight. Matthews will take the draw. And the draw won cleanly by Detroit. And shot out and down the ice on a bounce.
Let's not make that the thing to remember about this game.
Here are the Leafs back in their own zone. Nylander dropping for Marner. Marner through center to the line, stops it up. Now stretches it out. It goes to Tavares. A shot deflected in front of the net. Matthews backhanding. Couldn't get it underneath Reimer, who was able to get a glove on it. And a face-off again in the Detroit zone.
I know you said Tavares has been kicked out a lot. He's only won 6 out of the 20 face-offs that he's taken.
41 seconds in the power play. And Tavares wins it cleanly in front of the net. A shot by Matthews was stopped. Here's Nylander. Back to the point and a drive by Riley. Goes into the screen, out of play. Oh, baby.
And that's where he has scored before tonight, his previous 2 power play goals. Remember on Vasilevsky, same thing. They scored 3 seconds into the power play, won the draw, got it to Matthews, and that was the range.
33 seconds in the power play left. Tavares scrums the draw, but is able to get it back to Morgan Riley. Riley walks the line, middle of the ice, holds near side Nylander. Nylander with a shot that was blocked. He gets it again on the near boards, back to Morgan Riley. Over to Matthews on the far slot. Down low for Tavares, coming out in front, and the jam play didn't work. Now Marner curling onto the far half boards, gives it off to Matthews. Matthews top of the circle, back to Marner, a shot, and again Reimer's glove stopping play with a good move there to hang on. 5 seconds left in the power play, 50.8 seconds to go in the period, and the second unit, or at least a full line, will come on. And so are we going to overtime? Is that where number 70 is going to come?
Well, they keep him on the ice here for this faceoff.
They do. Domi and Bertuzzi joining Matthews. Draw won by Matthews. Back to the point, Benoit. Over on the right wing side, it goes to Lilligren. Down into the corner, Domi trying to center. That's blocked. Matthews hovering off on the left wing side. The penalty is over. The Red Wings have it back in their own zone. Puck in front of the net, rolled in front of the goal by Matthews. Kept alive at the blue line by Toronto. Fed into the corner and around back of the net. Red Wings trying to get clear of it. Benoit keeping it in momentarily, but it bounces to center ice. Lilligren just flipping it into the zone. 20 seconds to go. Matthews to the bench. Red Wings off the boards to center. And Domi is going to get a penalty here as DeBrincat is taken down.
Wow, this is huge for the Red Wings. Accidental, but it is a trip. As Max Domi got his stick into the skates of DeBrincat. Although looking at it again,
19.
This is actually into the hands. DeBrincat dives, but it's still a hook.
And the penalty. Sorry, Jerry.
Oh no, sorry. Go ahead.
Penalty kill brought to you by CMC Markets. Take your trading to the next level with $0 commission on stocks.
DeBrincat already a couple of power play goals on the night.
Face off to the right of Samsonov.
Pardon me, 1 power play, 1 even strength.
Is won by Toronto, but it's pushed back to the line, but not out. Kept in at the blue line. Kane gets it into the slot. A shot knocked down there. Rebound in front of the goal. Shot on goal stopped again by Samsonov. He sprawls as the buzzer goes to end regulation.
Well,
and Ilya Samsonov like his season.
Yes.
Right?
Second half, much better than the first. And he's spectacular at the end. Boy, he gets his right pad on that last attempt that would have ended this game.
We're back with the overtime. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Lately, times have been challenging, with many people facing increased interest rates, inflation, and rising credit card debt. Everyone needs a little help from time to time, but it can be hard to ask for help when it comes to your personal finances. But you're not alone. Millions of Canadians share that feeling with you. 500,000 Canadians have found help with their debt, and so can you, with Consolidated Credit Counseling Services of Canada. They are one of the largest non-profit credit counseling organizations in the country, with an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. They could help you consolidate your bills into one affordable payment, minimize your interest rates, and get you out of debt fast. No matter how much you owe, you don't need to do this alone. To get help, call 1-800-656-7129. That's 1-800-656-7129. Let Consolidated Credit get you back to a debt-free life. Call 1-800-656-7129. Call toll-free today for a free consultation. 1-800-656-7129. Ontario license number 4705786.
TSN 1050. Listen anywhere. Stream your favorite shows in your car. Available on Apple CarPlay via the iHeartRadio app. TSN 1050. Everywhere you want it.
So the Red Wings get their 86th point. The Maple Leafs grabbing their 101st with a bonus to come. But that's not enough for Detroit, because Washington and Philadelphia now each have 87, and Pittsburgh is playing the Boston Bruins.
Yeah, last look there, the Bruins were leading that game. It's now 4-2 with about 2:15 to go in the second period. Michael Bunting has scored for the Penguins to cut into the Boston Bruins lead. That is in Pittsburgh as well.
Minute 50 of the 5 minutes, the Leafs have to kill a penalty. Larkin and David Camp taking the draw, and the Red Wing centerman wins the faceoff. 4 against 3 to start the overtime. Gostisbehere dropping for Larkin. Larkin comes through center, weaves in on the right side, drops it off for Kane. Kane's pass deflects, but Gostisbehere was able to keep it in. Larkin back of the net with a pass. It'll come back to the blue line. Gostisbehere has it there to Kane on the right wing side. Holds back to Gostisbehere to Kane once more on the right wing. Holds again. Kane down low off a stick, broken up by the Maple Leafs, but they can't clear. Kept alive on the far side. Dropped off by Aston Reese to the far side. A shot scores, deflected by Larkin. The Red Wings are still alive and pour off the bench to congratulate Dylan Larkin, who wins the game in overtime.
A huge 2 points for the Red Wings wild card spot. 87 points with the Flyers and Capitals. And unfortunately for the Leafs, power play clicks twice tonight, but not a third time to win it late in the third period. Red Wings killed it off, and Max Domi with 10 seconds left takes a tripping penalty that ends up biting the Leafs in overtime. And in the home finale for the Toronto Maple Leafs, they come out on the short end of a 5-4 Detroit win.
So the Leafs will go to Florida on Tuesday night.
Well, oh yeah, I was thinking we talked about the playoffs already.
Yeah.
There's still, but yeah, we've
got 2 more games to go. It'll be back-to-back in Detroit or in Florida on Tuesday night and in Tampa Bay on Wednesday evening. And we'll have those games for you before the first round is played, and where the Leafs go for the first round is still up in the air.
Yeah, and then we'll see how important that game is. Certainly if the Boston Bruins can hold on in their game against the Pittsburgh Penguins, that would give them a 1-point lead over the Panthers. And the Leafs in Florida, by the way, is the last game of the season for Florida. Toronto will play one more in the second of the back-to-backs against Tampa. So right now, Florida holding on to first spot in the Atlantic Division. But if Boston holds on against Pittsburgh, they overtake the lead, and both teams will have a game left. But it could be significant.
Who plays who?
If the Leafs win, Florida will play Toronto, and all likelihood of Boston holds on. But If it comes down to it, Florida win could have the Leafs playing the Boston Bruins.
So we'll have that all sorted out for you next week. And more to be sorted out this evening from Jim Taddy and Frank Corrado in the postgame show. You've been listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
They are among the greatest to ever play their sports.
Caitlin Clark is the all-time scoring leader.
They are legends and icons.
Larry Bird hit the shot with 2 seconds left. I don't know how he did it.
And you can hear them right now on the all-new Sirius XM app.
We are here with Iowa superstar Caitlin Clark.
I'm so focused on winning. It's never anything I ever take for granted.
Here comes Larry Bird, the Hall of Famer, and he just won Legend of the Year.
Legend of the Year, isn't that something? For access to the game's greats, rely on the leader in sports audio. Sirius XM and the Sirius XM app.
Hockey 24/7 on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
This is the NHL. These are pros. You don't want guys to put good power play units on, don't take penalties. You don't want good power play units to score goals when you've given up a whole bunch, kill them. You don't like it, do something about it. If you want to reward your guys who had a good game with the chance to get some more goals and points, do it. If I was a coach, I wouldn't care. Who cares? Worry about your own team. Don't worry about mine.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
Sirius XM 91.
And on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
Toronto, they don't have a face card. Like, they don't have an ace. Morgan's a jack. They have so many non-face cards that these guys are going to have to bullpen by committee. Because the real truth is this. They got a good forward group. But if you don't defend against Boston and Florida, you're not seeing Boston or Florida in round 2. That's the exam, and the test will be on this defense.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio.
Sirius XM 91 and the Sirius XM app.
Hey Toronto, I'm David Morsuti, host of the daily Toronto Maple Leafs podcast, Locked On Leafs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network on the Sirius XM app. Every weekday, we bring you the latest Leafs news and analysis, break down all the action, including this game you're listening to right now, and preview the next one. We're giving you everything a Leafs fan could want, all in a daily 30-minute podcast. Download Locked On Leafs right now on the Sirius XM app, available with all trials and popular plans, or where you get your podcasts. Search Locked On.
There is no competition in soccer quite like the UEFA Champions League. And it's on Sirius XM FC.
Kylian Mbappe delivering when it matters most.
The stakes are higher now in the knockout stage, where one goal can transform a club's trajectory.
Jude Bellingham's driving scores!
And one performance can turn a star into an immortal.
Erling Haaland has 5!
It's the Champions League knockout stage, and all the top matches are on Sirius XM FC 157 and the all-new Sirius XM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
Hockey lives here.
Suzuki sweeps it. There's a chance. Rebound, Caulfield shoots and scores.
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
The best hockey lives here.
Burns gets it back. Stick handles to the backhand. Moves in front. Score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Hi, this is Ray Hudson, and for all the biggest matches from club soccer's holy grail, the UEFA Champions League, tune in to Sirius XM FC 157.
This is Leafs Game Night on TSN 1050 and the Leafs Radio Network. The Leafs live here.
Wild finish. Detroit wins it in overtime, 5-4. The Red Wings over the Leafs. This is Leafs Game Night, live from Scotiabank Arena. Jim Taddy, Frank Corrado, Jimmy Ralph, kind enough to hang around. And Ralphie, I mean, you wanted the Leafs to win, but they answered back. They were down 4-1. They played a solid game after that, and when the game mattered, Sammy stood on his head.
Yeah, I was probably, and we obviously know what the biggest storyline of the night was. But watching Ilya Samsonov, 4 straight periods struggling.
Yeah.
6 goals and 20 shots against the Devils, 4 on, 12 in the 13 in the first period
13,
tonight.
Yeah.
So you go through a stretch where you give up 10 goals on 33 shots in 4 periods. You start to think with the timing of this, oh no.
Yeah.
And, some of us were a little surprised that Samsonov was back in. You thought they might just alternate through the last 4 games of the regular season. But I really like the bounce back by Samsonov. I like the way the Leafs answered as well. As they come out, the second period, for whatever reason, has been their best period all season. And they dominated enough to get back into it. And in a perfect world, the Leafs have a power play goal in the dying minutes to win the game and celebrate Auston Matthews. But that's going to be another interesting call.
Ralphie, you and I before the game were talking about the special teams for the Leafs and how that can be such a deciding factor. And then you look at the Leafs power play, goes 2 for 4 in this game, but Detroit's power play goes 2 for 3. So there still is, there's still a work in progress as far as how the penalty kill is playing, but at least the power play got on the board with 2.
Yeah, and even you go back to New Jersey. I mean, and this is a perfect example of how important power plays are, especially in the playoffs, where the Leafs lose by a goal to New Jersey. But Jersey scores 3 power play goals, the Leafs don't get any. And that's, you usually shrink those numbers when you get into the playoffs. Where you give up 1, don't get 1, and that's the difference in a 1-goal game. So it was nice to see in the second period that the Leafs power play starting to look dangerous again, because it wasn't even at the point where you're saying, oh, it's a matter of time, they're getting their chances.
No.
It was a disaster.
No chances.
And by the way, I think a big part of that, you see Mitch Marner every game back has looked more comfortable, more confident, and more dominant with the extra man.
And Riley, too, on the power play.
Yes.
Auston Matthews got a 69 tonight. He had 15 shot attempts. 10 got through. Normal night for him these days.
Yeah, and hit a crossbar, too.
Yeah.
Which seems to be pretty normal. I know somebody tracks the stats, goalposts and crossbars, and I think he's up to 20 now.
Oh, boy.
It's just one of those years where there hasn't been a lot of luck.
So, I thought you were still going to talk there.
He got you, Frankie. He got you.
Frankie was looking at his notes.
I'm looking at my notes here. Excuse me. And part of my notes include Nicholas Robertson and his goal-scoring capabilities, and we see it tonight. It really felt like that was the TSN turning point in this game. Nick Robertson takes the puck from his own end right through the neutral zone, untouched, and that's a clean shot. And Taddy was joking around. There's not a goaltender in the NHL that's going to stop that shot. Do you want to maybe defend your position a little bit? Like, you think you could have stopped that one back in your day?
Well, back in my day, it wouldn't have been as hard, but it still would have gone in.
Well, you would have been standing.
You're right. Joe and I sort of talked about it at the commercial break as a combination of Nylander Matthews on that goal. The Nylander's speed coming down the wing, and then the Matthews-like release. And saying that, obviously,
James Reimer had the Jim Ralph kind of thing going in there.
Yeah, wrong hand, but like I said, it didn't matter. But it's and it was fun to watch Robertson take out of his own end, because you saw there were some other options to develop where he could have put on the brakes and let guys come late. He had somebody going down the right wing side, but it was as if he was possessed. He thought, you know what, I've got an opening and I'm going to go, and I've got a plan. But the little adjustment he made, the little toe drag, was, to me, what threw Reimer off and the defenseman off as far as trying to get his stick in front of it. I mean, that's a skilled move at a high play, to do that little angle change.
And where does that sit for you as far as what that could mean come playoff time? Because, that's a guy, that's a great example of a quick strike situation, gets you a goal, changes the way your team is playing, changes the momentum. That's something that they could use in the playoffs. Does that make you feel more and more like he could be playing come game one?
Well, it'll be interesting to see, number one, the extent of the injury to Bobby McMahon.
Yep.
I think if McMahon, and I'm not saying this is the only way Robertson gets in for game one, but if McMahon's out, I think definitely.
Yep.
You've got Nick Robertson in. And I remember back in, 99, the Leafs playing Pittsburgh, and Lonnie Bohannes.
How could we forget?
Got into some games for the Leafs, and it seemed like he scored big goals throughout that series against Pittsburgh. And sometimes it's not a playoff run, sometimes it's a series. You saw even Tyler Bertuzzi last year, losing end of the Bruins against Florida in the first round, but 10 points in 7 games. You're thinking he wasn't the guy you thought was going to be your leading scorer. So sometimes you have unlikely heroes in a series. Not necessarily a long playoff run, but in certain moments, and Nick Robertson is one of those players that has the ability in a split second to turn a series around.
That's the missing piece from the last couple of years, was the guy who sort of started things, right?
Yeah, it's always been, if you shut the core four down, you win the series. And from from a Leaf standpoint, you need the secondary scoring. And, last year in the first round against Tampa, they got a big goal from Ryan O'Reilly to send it to overtime. Morgan Riley in overtime scoring.
Kerfoot
Alex
had a big
Kerfoot
goal. Yeah, exactly.
On a Giordano shot, a redirect. So, that's what it takes to win a series. Have your big boys come up when they have to, but you need that secondary scoring and the confidence from those other lines.
Another player that I thought had a strong performance tonight was Pontus Holmberg. And good job with the back pressure, breaking plays up, good job forechecking, but if he could have one thing that really sticks to him come playoff time, it would be just be a guy that's hard to play against. And I think that would make a difference for the team as well. Just having a guy who's in your middle six who can eat some matchups at time when you need him to tread water against some better opponents. Be a guy who's a little more physical, who can protect the puck, play in the offensive zone, all that kind of stuff. I think if he just plays hard to play against hockey, that's going to be something that the team also has missed in that position, that kind of third line.
And he's almost the perfect resume for a third line center, isn't he? There's a little bit of offense there. I mean, I know he hasn't scored since his 2-goal game.
I would like, to be honest with you, I would like a little more offense from him, but I can live with that as long as he's hard to play against.
Yeah, I mean, if you're on the ice and Nick Robertson scoring goals and you guys are in the third line, then you've got guys that are responsible defensively with, an offensive uptick. So, I'm with you, and I love him slotted as a number 3 center. With all due respect, when we saw some of the other lines that might have had Connor Dewar as the number 4 center and David Kampf at number 3, you're starting to think, okay, that's the huge division between top 6 and bottom 6. Yeah. And at least Holmberg gives you a little more of a hybrid line.
Scary part of the game. Lilligren goes into the boards. McMahon injured. McCabe.
Right here on Toronto Sports Insider, hanging out with the best fans in the world. Thank you guys again. Over 14,000 now. It is crazy. We had a huge night last night. That sub counter was going nuts during the Blue Jays game and the Leafs game. Thank you all. Now let's get back to it. Go Leafs go. Let's go Blue Jays. Talk to you guys real soon.
Auston Matthews got a lot of extra shifts laid out with Bertuzzi and Domi because I think part of it for Sheldon Keefe, get it over with tonight so there doesn't have to be any question of him sitting out one of the 2 Florida games or maybe both of the Florida games. And now, you don't want to get into that. I don't want to be the guy that takes away that chance for Matthews to get 70, but at the same time, you want to protect your greatest asset going into the postseason. So I could certainly understand why there was a little bit of urgency from Sheldon Keefe to get this thing over with.
So Bobby McMahon leaves the game. He only plays 4 minutes and 10 seconds. That's good for 5 shifts. In his absence, Matthew Nyes, who's a player who's obviously built the same way, bigger, power forward. I thought he had a real higher in the lineup. He was playing lower in the lineup, some second-line shifts, fourth-line shifts. It felt like with McMahon out, with another guy that kind of fits his identity, he picked up the slack as far as what that type of player brings to this roster.
Yeah, and this has really been probably 6 or 7 games for Nyes that he's been noticeable. I know he scored in back-to-back games going into the game in New Jersey. And in New Jersey, didn't score, but might have been as noticeable as you'd seen him all year. In on the forecheck, setting up plays, getting opportunities. So, we Joe and I kind of joked about it, where you're saying, he gets moved to the 4th line and was playing with Camp and Gregor, Kampf, and Reeves. And I'm saying, this is not a smart thing to do. Get demoted to the 4th line and play your best hockey. And they're going, boy, now we find a spot for you where you're going. Like we said, it's no different than when, if you sit out for 4 or 5 games and you come back and play great. That's not a smart thing to do because the coach is going to say, okay, now I know how this works with you. You screw up again, you're back on the shelf for 4 or 5 games. Yeah. But, Matthew Nyes is, again, I think it's one of those years for a college player to get through an 82-game grind. There's that adjustment. But it's nice to see that he's picked up steam and some confidence at this time of year.
Ralphie, thanks for hanging around. Appreciate it.
Boys, looking forward to hopefully what's a rather lengthy time together.
Yeah, playoffs. Yeah, sure. We'll see, Guy. We'll see.
I'll text you when I'm home.
Okay, good.
It might take a little longer. Is the Gardner, the lane still reduced?
Oh, I go to the Don Valley.
Oh, okay, perfect.
So, yeah,
that's great.
Oh, yeah, that should be closed now, too.
Okay, yeah. Now they know you're coming. Put the pylons out. Ralphie's on his way.
Yeah, that's the only thing that bugs me with the traffic is when the only guy that showed up for work was the guy that put the pylons out.
Nobody told him we weren't working tonight. All right, Detroit wins 5-4 in overtime over the Leafs. This is Leafs Game Night on TSN 1050, the iHeart Radio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
From the biggest stadiums to the coziest holes in the wall. From house parties to porch hangs to pride celebrations. From your favorite fuzz shop to your local Indian spot. From noodle bars to sports bars to salsa bars. There's a Molson with your name on it. Canadian Ultra XL. Molson. Everyone in. Must be legal drinking age.
Lately, times have been challenging, with many people facing increased interest rates, inflation, and rising credit card debt. Everyone needs a little help from time to time, but it can be hard to ask for help when it comes to your personal finances. But you're not alone. Millions of Canadians share that feeling with you. 500,000 Canadians have found help with their debt, and so can you, with Consolidated Credit Counseling Services of Canada. They are one of the largest non-profit credit counseling organizations in the country, with an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. They could help you consolidate your bills into one affordable payment, minimize your interest rates, and get you out of debt fast. No matter how much you owe, you don't need to do this alone. To get help, call 1-800-656-7129. That's 1-800-656-7129. Let Consolidated Credit get you back to a debt-free life. Call 1-800-656-7129. Call toll-free today for a free consultation. 1-800-656-7129. Ontario license number 4705786.
Leafs Game Night live from Scotiabank Arena. Jim Taddy and Frankie Corrado with you. Detroit wins 5-4 in overtime. Huge win for the Wings. Don't know if it helps them get in, but it doesn't hurt them, that's for sure.
No, and you know what? That was one of the big things to focus in on at the start of this game. Detroit playing for their lives to try and stay in the playoff race. They needed 2 points, and they were the team that came out better. Obviously, they took advantage of Ilya Samsonov's shortcomings in the first period and gets a 4-1 lead going into the second, and Toronto did a good job of matching their intensity and finding a way to crawl back into this game, and ultimately it was Detroit who ends up winning in overtime. But it was a good little tune-up as far as what kind of urgency and tenacity is needed when you're playing these kinds of games where, you know, every little thing matters. Every battle is going to matter. Every puck race is going to matter, and even the discipline. Like, there were times where Detroit really undisciplined in this game, taking penalties in the offensive zone. Like, you know, you could say that Detroit is fortunate to get 2 points out of this game, but ultimately they do, and you could see the excitement from the bench as they all poured onto the ice after that overtime winner went in, and they are still alive with 2 games left to go, both against the Montreal Canadiens.
Don't know that I would have predicted Patrick Kane would get a high-sticking double minor, and then another one at 17-15 of the third period, another high-sticking penalty. Kind of odd, isn't it?
It is weird, and that's been the thing for the Red Wings all year. It's like they have all these veteran players, but it's not really the young guys that are making the young mistakes. It's the veteran guys that have made a lot of the younger mistakes. And, you know, for Toronto, how does that matter to them? It doesn't really matter, but they do get 2 power play goals, which is really important. And as Ralphie alluded to, Mitch Marner being back on the power play has been a big plus for them. Morgan Riley loaded up the one-timer a couple times, Jimmy, which is nice to see, not always just deferring to the half walls and you know, just having different points of attack. So there was a lot to like about what the Leafs power play had going tonight, and I know John Tavares was a big part of that as well.
He was, and he talks about how the team turned it around after a tough first period.
Well, obviously, you know, we knew their situation coming in, and for whatever reason, we didn't have that urgency quite like they did early on, and certainly showed defensively. And then I think after that, you know, it came full throttle for us, and I thought we did a good job in the second period and the third of generating momentum, controlling play, creating opportunities. Obviously worked our way back into the game. Gave ourselves a chance to win. We just obviously didn't execute enough to get one more. Came down a couple power plays at the end. We had some good looks, and theirs carried on into overtime, had a little extra space, and unfortunately we couldn't get it done.
How difficult is it to manufacture urgency when you're going against a team that actually has it legitimate?
We're not in their shoes, in their situation, but we have our own sense of urgency and what we're trying to work for, and where things are at for us and what we're trying to do. So, it was disappointing, obviously, the first period. That's, we want to be better in this situation. It is what it is. At times when things don't go your way, you don't play to your expectation, how you respond and how we handle it. And I like the response coming out of it.
Speaking of responses, it's how you point to Ilya after you scored your goal. What did you make of how he battled after the first?
Well, I think he's done it all year. I think it's probably, I can't speak for him, but I think he'd agree. He's had to battle his way from a difficult start, and even at times in games when things don't always go his way, you can just see how hard he's fighting and doing everything he can to give us a chance and make that next save, and he certainly did that again today. So, as a teammate and playing in front of him, you want to reward him for that and do a good job and acknowledge him when necessary.
What was it like to play in this atmosphere tonight? It's Saturday night. Obviously, the crowd was into it, looking in for Auston to do what he does. What was it like to play in this atmosphere tonight?
It's always special playing here. Obviously, Hockey Night in Canada is a great thing, a great tradition, and you feel it in the city, you feel it in the building. So, obviously we just want to be on the right side of the result.
Sense that Mitch is finding his groove now after that long layoff?
I would agree. I think you can just see his reads, just how quick he's making plays, how on top he is on things, and just with his hockey sense, and like I said, his reads, you can just see his understanding of the game is so high, and it's really starting to come for him and flow to him. Not just the playmaking and putting on the score sheet, but even without the puck, which leads to so many good things.
Yeah, it's an interesting phrase in there, manufacturing intensity. That's got to be difficult.
It is, because Detroit, it's organic. They know exactly what they're playing for, and
no choice.
They have no choice in the matter. And for Toronto, they are where they are. There's going to be some movement and some variance ahead of them as far as, are they going to play Boston, are they going to play Florida? But their fate is pretty much sealed at this point. But it takes a little while to get yourself mentally and emotionally invested in a game like that, and it was the Leafs eventually that did that, and it really did feel like the Nick Robertson goal was the TSN turning point. Like, that was
absolutely.
The ice opened up for him. The building came to life after that, and then the Leafs get to work on the power play, and John Tavares, of course, scores a goal himself. And there was a lot to like about the resilience of the Leafs tonight. Maybe not so much with the start, but the fact that they were able to manufacture that, I think that speaks volumes to how far this team has come as far as the life on the bench, because for the longest time it's been noted that it's maybe a little bit of a quieter bench. They don't have the personalities or the most boisterous kinds of people, but if you are able to manufacture something like that, I think it speaks to how the leadership group can kind of take a hold of a situation and bring the whole group into the fight and get a little more out of them.
Detroit wins it by a score of 5-4 in overtime over the Leafs. This is Leafs Game Night on TSN 1050, the iHeart Radio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
The biggest clubs in world soccer clash at the UEFA Champions League. And it's on Sirius XM FC.
What a brilliant finish that is from Rafinha!
After a thrilling 3-2 win in Paris, Barcelona hosts PSG in the second leg of the quarterfinals with a spot in the last four on the line.
Breaks to Dembele, left-footed right into the back of the net!
Barcelona versus PSG, Tuesday at 3 Eastern on Sirius XM FC 157 and streaming on the Sirius XM app.
The Points with Boomer Gordon.
Andrew Burnett is your Jack Adams winner. 70 points in 52 games. You project that over 82, Jake. That's an 111-point pace. So they've gone head-to-head with the big boys of the West all year. Andrew Burnett inherited a new GM in Barry Trotz and a sinking payroll. And he's got this team playing as well as any team in the NHL.
Points with Boomer Gordon. 1 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. Hockey 24/7 on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
This is the NHL. These are pros. You don't want guys to put good power play units on, don't take penalties. You don't want good power play units to score goals when you've given up a whole bunch, kill them. You don't like it, do something about it. If you want to reward your guys who had a good game with a chance to get some more goals and points, do it. If I was a coach, I wouldn't care. Who cares? Worry about your own team. Don't worry about mine.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91. And on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. NHL Morning Skate.
Andrew Burnett, head coach of the Nashville Predators. I think Roman Josi gets underrated nowadays.
I think maybe the consistency that he does it every year, you take it for granted a little bit. I mean, he's done everything in this game. His ability to raise his game is very unique. You know, I've been around some really good, great defensemen. He's right up there with them, and he does get over them.
NHL Morning Skate
With Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick.
weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind, wrist the line, and walks in, put it between his legs, shoots and scores!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Leafs Game Night live from Scotiabank Arena. Jim Taddy and Frankie Corrado with you. Our last segment together of the regular season on the no thanks, I got to drive. Just offered some goodies there. I can't. No,
I'm really surprised you turned those down.
No sugar at this time.
I thought because you didn't have any ice cream, maybe you got a little left in the tank.
No.
Okay.
And the ice cream ban has been year long.
I got to give you a lot of credit for that. I was very skeptical that this was actually going to happen, but you stuck with it all year long, and this is our last home game of the regular season, and you did it. Yeah. Are you going to reward yourself with anything tomorrow?
No, I got a Raptors game at 12:30.
Well, that sounds like punishment more than a reward.
Guy.
Sorry,
well,
Guy.
Last game of the season. It's farewell weekend.
It is farewell weekend. It wasn't farewell to the Detroit Red Wings as they keep their season alive. And it also wasn't farewell to Ilya Samsonov and his playoff aspirations of having the Maple Leafs net, because coming off that game against the New Jersey Devils, it didn't go well for him. It was a terrible start tonight after the first period, and Sheldon Keefe elects to keep him in the net and let him play through it. That was the right decision.
Yeah.
And Ilya Samsonov showed him why, because from the second all the way through, he was great. He made a lot of big saves, especially in the dying minutes of the game in the third period.
Yeah.
There were a couple where he really had to sprawl out reach for a little extra.
Seconds left.
A couple desperation saves, and as he kind of got his game going, the fans really let him know that they were appreciative of it, as the old Sammy chant was back at Scotiabank Arena.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's an interesting premise when you deal with how he was after the first period, allowed 4 goals and 13 shots. And so when you make that decision to either not have him start the second period or have him start the second period, you have to be careful that you don't add to the problem.
And you know what? Looking back at things, if you took him out of the net, that may have been adding to the problem.
Absolutely.
Like not giving him the opportunity to really see it through. And now it tells you something. Now it tells you, how long does it take after a poor performance for this guy to get it back on the rails? Because if it takes one period after a bad performance, I think most people would take that, because you're still going to have 40 minutes to work your way through it, and you know you'll get 40 minutes of quality hockey. It's not going to be the same every single time. It's never linear, but at least now you have a better understanding of when can this guy get his confidence back, and if he does, when he does, what does that look like? And tonight, it had a much better look after the last 40 minutes of this game than it did in the first 20.
Well, look, he struggled in the first period, but so did everybody else.
Yeah, it wasn't a great first period, and you know, you go through the goals. You know, Morgan Rielly pinches in on a rush, and it leads to a 2-on-1 opportunity. William Nylander loses some coverage on a young defenseman pinching in, and Simon Edvinsson, and he scores. And then there were, you know, a couple that, you know, it's a power play goal, then it's a sharp angle shot, and you know, and that's on Ilya Samsonov. But the response from the Leafs was exactly what you would have liked to see.
Yeah.
And Ilya Samsonov was a big part of that, especially in the third period, in the later moments of that period.
I got to say, though, before Robertson scores, and there's 3 goals there that happened in 8 minutes and 18 seconds, there wasn't much happening. That really was a TSN turning point.
It was. That really opened up the floodgates for the Leafs. And, you know, I think in that situation, Detroit makes a mistake where they go for a line change, and that's a moment in time where their lapse in judgment leads to them losing the momentum, and we see Toronto take over. And we've seen instances in the past, especially come playoff time, where Toronto seems to lose that momentum and has a hard time getting it back. In this game, they took it and they kept it, and the third period was what it was, and obviously they lose the game in overtime. But the second period and the response from Toronto, that tells you much more about where this team is at and how far they've come in those kinds of managing the game situations.
They had the double minor on Kane, high sticking double minor. Matthews scores at 10:23. Kane goes off at 9:18. I think one of the stats was they had 9 shots in that power play.
Yeah, and the power play looked much better. And not that it much better, that's fine, but it looked different because when Marner's in the lineup, when Morgan Rielly plays on that power play, when it feels like everything's starting to come together, they throw different looks at you. And it's not just the typical, have 2 forwards on the tops of the circles trying to skate downhill towards the net, have a player in the bumper. Watch where Marner is when he makes that pass right across to Matthews on the power play. Like, he's in a weird spot that you wouldn't typically be, but that's probably by design, given the tools and the creativity that we've seen from this power play unit at times this season, and that's going to be a big thing for him. Let me ask you this, Jimmy. In years past, going into the playoffs, the Leafs power play had been playing pretty well, had it not, or had it cooled down heading into the playoffs?
I think heading into the playoffs, you were counting on the power play, you were counting on the Fab Four, and that was it.
Well, this year, the power play has been cold the last little while. Could we maybe see it on the uptick heading into the heading into the playoffs? You know what I mean? Sometimes it goes through these ebbs and flows where it's hot and cold, and it seems like it goes cold at the wrong time every year.
I don't think you can look at anything that happens here and project it into a playoff series. To me, a playoff series is punch, counter punch. You're either going to try to do something and it's going to work, and then they're going to counter it, or you're going to try something and it's not going to work, and then you got to counter that.
Well, and that's what we saw tonight. Detroit Red Wings throw the first punch. They got off to a 4-1 lead. What do you have? And I do appreciate the fact that it wasn't Matthews who got the party started for Toronto. It was a depth player who got the party started in Nick Robertson, and that's your TSN turning point, and the rest followed as the Leafs get a point out of this game, don't win. The Detroit Red Wings keep their season alive and their playoff aspirations alive.
Frankie C., take the rest of the night off.
Thanks, Jimmy. We'll see you in the playoffs.
Yes, we will. We'll see you in the playoffs. This is Leafs Game Night on TSN 1050, the iHeart Radio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
You've been listening to NHL Play-by-Play on SiriusXM. Head over to SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, for the best hockey talk.
Come and play. What a great setup it is. You say to yourself, why are they going to Utica? They've got 3 rinks there, and they've got a facility to work out, a big gym, and a big, like a court, a foam sports court. It's an unbelievable facility to host the tournament. So the women love playing there. And I went in and watched the Canada-U.S. game that was a 1-0 overtime win for Team USA.
Yeah, I guess a lot different Utica than we remember going to the American Hockey League, whatever, decades ago, what they have nowadays, Berkey, that's for sure. So I was wondering about the other countries as well. So the case of other countries improving, but then the Canadian USA women, do they just keep improving on the top end? Like, are we closing the gap a bit, or does it just remain the same?
Well, I'm looking at this tournament and the way USA turned over their team. So there were way more veterans on the Canadian team than the U.S. team. They're turning over their roster for the next Olympics with a bunch of NCAA players. And I look at the wave of athletes that are coming behind our current wave of women, and it's like the NHL. There's another wave of superstars coming behind this group of women. So that's the challenge, is if we keep getting better in North America, can the rest of the world keep pace? And I see improvement. I see certainly more attention on the PWHL. There's women from 10 countries playing in the PWHL. So it's an encouraging sign in my mind. And the IHF has made it a priority to get better with the women's game, but we got a ways to go yet. I'm interested in having the best coaches available. I would like to see more women coaches